there is nobody, it's nobody's power or duty to offer equal rights to women. Women intrinsically have equal rights. We only have to ensure that those equal rights do not get eroded or trampled upon or be questioned in any manner. And that is the duty of all citizens, that include, of course, men and women both. It is also about ensuring that there are intrinsic and equitable partners in the workforce. The women empowerment in India is heavily dependent on many different variables that include geographical location, whether it is urban or rural, educational status, and social status, of course, which also has a bearing, whether it be caste or class, and even age. Gender equality is the prerequisite for a better world. Gender equality and empowerment of women lie at the heart of sustainable development goals as espoused by the United Nations, and they are vital to fully realizing the rights and potentials of all persons. This pandemic has led everyone to make drastic changes in their life, but it has taken a especially heavy toll on working women. It has disrupted the formal and informal networks that are crucial to women's professional lives. As COVID-19 has upended lives across the world, a disproportionate amount of its toll has also fallen on the working women. In addition to their professional duties, the burden of managing home and children and to take care of their work has grown. The repercussions of the pandemic on the urban working woman, despite her many privileges, has been significant. But they were still successful in managing everything meticulously during the pandemic, as the results show, as all of us know, that women have very actively and very efficiently all across the spectrum managed their professional lives and personal lives even more with even more commitment during the pandemic period, when in addition to their regular duties, they were having to do additional responsibilities of children and for their looking after their families during the day also. The past few decades have brought about dramatic changes in how women navigate their workplace responsibilities, caregiving needs, and personal lives. But what is really encouraging is that the number of women leaders that are taking charge all over the world. Madam, you yourself are a great example. You are the head of Chhattisgarh government, and being a woman, which is something that we all look very, very proudly at. And we see that there are so many women who are playing a very, very active part in our polity, including our two senior cabinet ministers, the finance minister, Nirmala Sitharaman ji, and Smriti Irani ji, the textile minister, not to mention the large number of members of parliament and even female chief ministers that we have and have always had in the past also. Currently, data tells us that there are 21 women heads of government or state across the world. The most powerful women holding political positions would include, of course, the German Chancellor, Madam Merkel, and of course, recently elected Kamala Harris, the US Vice President, New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, and Ms. Kaja Kallas, the Estonian first female Prime Minister, and so many other ladies who have taken charge across the world and across our country to take positions of responsibility and to serve not only with power but also with compassion, which is the special hallmark of women. Women are no longer only responsible for therefore cooking or kitchen cleaning or washing or dusting or vacuuming. They have made efficient use of the opportunities given to them over the past few decades and have proven time and again that they are no less than anyone else, and in fact much better, because of their ability to do things, to multitask, and at the same time do things in a much more compassionate, as I just said, much more compassionate and caregiving, careful manner. Be it joining the armed forces or taking up the leadership roles in government offices, there has been an active participation on women in all spheres. Just today, we read in the newspapers that we have now lady officers on naval warships and on naval destroyers. So we are not having women taking a back seat anywhere. They are there flying fighter aircraft and helicopters in war zones. So I think this is something that that is still a work in progress. We still need a stage where we can with full confidence say that the women are as empowered in every manner possible as men. And that is the day we would all look forward to. So it's really a great celebration that we are doing today of what has been achieved and an appreciation of what more that needs to be achieved. So it's really my pleasure, and I really look forward to hearing the speakers today. My grateful thanks to everyone, and I would request Nagma ji to please take the program forward. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So somebody has to unmute. Thank you, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal. Now I would like to request Dr. Blossom Kocher for the theme address. We know that the theme of the International Women's Day this year is Choose to Challenge. Dr. Blossom Kocher is the co-chairperson of the Women Entrepreneurship Committee of PhD-CCI and a super successful woman entrepreneur herself. Ma'am, over to you.
Namaskar. Miss Anasuya UK, Honorable Governor of Chhattisgarh, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, President PhD CCI, Mr. Pradeep Multani, Senior Vice President PhD CCI, Mr. Saket Dalmia, Vice President PhD CCI, Dr. Aruna Abe Oswal, Chairperson WE Committee PhD CCI, Mr. Digvijay Darbaria, Chairman Rajasthan Chapter PhD CCI, Mr. Pradeep Karambelkar, Chairman MP Chapter PhD CCI, Mr. Vishal Chowdhury, Chairman Jharkhand Chapter PhD CCI, Mr. Shashank Rastogi, Chairman Chhattisgarh Chapter PhD CCI, and Miss Archana Agarwal, Co-Chairperson WE Committee PhD CCI, Ms. Vertika Dwivedi, Co-Chairperson WE Committee PhD CCI, Mr. Saurabh Sanyal, Secretary General PhD CCI, and Dr. Yogesh Srivastav, Assistant Secretary General PhD CCI. Eminent speakers and guests, distinguished delegates, Samman recipients from states. Good afternoon to you all. I heartily welcome you all to this exclusive webinar on celebrating International Women's Day 2021. Thank you all for sparing your valuable time to be with us. The International Women's Day is celebrated every year to celebrate women's success and part in culture, political, social, and economic development of the society. It is also acknowledged to make people aware of women's rights and gender equality. It's a day for celebrating women who work hard every day to achieve personal and professional goals. It is a day to acknowledge the value and importance of women in our lives. Women stand at the front lines of COVID-19 crisis as healthcare workers, caregivers, innovators, community organizers, and as some of the most exemplary and effective national leaders in combating the pandemic. A tremendous amount of efforts by women around the world are being undertaken in shaping a more equal future and recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. The theme of International Women's Day 2021 is Choose to Challenge. This states that the women are responsible for their own thoughts and actions every day, and they challenge the world every single day. The theme further signifies that women can choose to challenge gender bias and equality in the world. People need to celebrate women's achievements and also make the world a better place to live in with equality. The world is moving towards gender equality. it is moving towards a balance between both men and women. Women, equal economic rights and opportunities are a global imperative. If we are to build a fair globalization that works for all, financial independence makes women stronger. Working women are more likely to invest in their families and communities. Strengthening economies and making them more resilient. Even the corporate boards that include them are more stable and profitable. For the first time, we are seeing examples of women field leaders emerging from across the generations to cross-weave their knowledge and drive for change. Millennial women are taking on different roles and equaling the playing field. Women have come on their own and started scaling the ladders of social advance with poise and dignity. Women are now uplifted, emancipated, and granted equal status with men in all walks of life: political, social, domestic, and educational. They have a franchise. They are free to join any service or follow any profession. India has had a woman prime minister, woman president, women ambassadors, women cabinet ministers, women legislators, women governors, women scientists, engineers, doctors, space researchers, giant ICT specialists, women generals, women's public officers, judiciary officers, and many more responsible positions. No distinction is now made in matters of education between boys and girls. Their voice is now as forceful and important as that of men. They are becoming equal partners in making or dismissing of a government. Change isn't just about big headline moments, legal victories, and international agreements. The way we talk, think, and act every day can create a ripple effect that benefits everyone. Change comes from within. I look forward to hearing from the plethora of distinguished speakers who have joined us today to celebrate this special day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Blossom Kochhar, for that address. I would, before we move on with the program, I would like to we are very privileged today that the governor of Chhattisgarh has joined us. और मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगी कि माननीय सुश्री अनुसुईया उइके जो अब राज्यपाल है, उनका जन्म 10 अप्रैल 1957 को ग्राम रोहन कला जिला छिंदवाड़ा मध्य प्रदेश में हुआ और उनके पिता का नाम स्वर्गीय श्री लखनलाल जी उइके है। उनके वो छात्र जीवन से ही सामाजिक और राजनीतिक गतिविधियों में बहुत दिलचस्पी लेती रही हैं और इसके पूर्व वो राष्ट्रीय जनजातीय आयोग की उपाध्यक्ष रही हैं। अर्थशास्त्र में उन्होंने स्नातकोत्तर किया है और LLB की परीक्षा पास करने के बाद शासकीय महाविद्यालय तामिया जिला छिंदवाड़ा में सन 1982 से 1985 तक अर्थशास्त्र की वो व्याख्याता भी रही हैं। तो उन्होंने बहुत कुछ किया इसके पहले कि वो राजनीति में आई और वो अब गवर्नर हैं। उसके पश्चात शासकीय सेवा से त्यागपत्र देकर विधानसभा चुनाव लड़ी। वो सन 1985 से 1990 तक विधानसभा क्षेत्र दमुआ से विधायक रही तथा मध्य प्रदेश शासन में वर्ष 1988 से 1989 तक महिला और बाल विकास विभाग की मंत्री रही हैं। वो राज्य और राष्ट्रीय स्तर के विभिन्न आयोगों के सदस्य रह चुकी हैं। राज्यसभा सदस्य रही हैं वो 2006 से अप्रैल 2012 तक। उन्हें दलित समाज के उत्थान हेतु किए गए विशिष्ट कार्यों के लिए 6 दिसंबर 1990 को डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर फेलोशिप से सम्मानित किया गया है। उन्होंने विधायक और सांसद के पद पर रहते हुए बहुत दुनिया भर की यात्राएं की हैं, मॉस्को, जिनीवा, लंदन, मलेशिया, जाम्बिया, मतलब अनगिनत जगह हैं जहां पर वो गई हैं। उनके द्वारा आदिवासी महिलाओं के सशक्तिकरण के लिए 22 राज्यों के 80 जिलों का भ्रमण करने के बाद प्रतिवेदन तैयार किया और तत्कालीन और उस वक्त जो प्रधानमंत्री थे अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी, उनको उन्होंने प्रतिवेदन दिया। वो 1998 से 1999 तक अध्यक्ष भूमि विकास बैंक जिला छिंदवाड़ा, अध्यक्ष मध्य प्रदेश राज्य अनुसूचित जनजाति आयोग, सदस्य राष्ट्र महिला आयोग भारत सरकार, इन तमाम पदों पर वो रही हैं। उसके बाद उन्होंने राज्यसभा सांसद के पद का निर्वहन किया है, जो कि वो 4 अप्रैल 2012 तक रही। हमें बहुत इस बात का हम शुक्रगुजार हैं और हमें गर्व है कि आप हमारे बीच आज हैं, माननीय राज्यपाल। और मैं चाहूंगी कि आपको सम्मानित करने के लिए मैं आग्रह करूंगी मिस्टर संजय अग्रवाल और डॉक्टर अरुणा अभय ओसवाल से कि हमारी विशिष्ट अतिथि जो हमारी चीफ गेस्ट हैं माननीय अनुसुईया उइके जो ऑनरेबल गवर्नर हैं छत्तीसगढ़ की, उन्हें आप सम्मानित करें।
It's truly our privilege, madam. We are really honored to have you here. Join us, ma'am, today.
और मैं आपसे गुजारिश करना चाहूंगी, आपसे प्रार्थना है, सब लोग आपको सुनने को तैयार हैं माननीय राज्यपाल जी, तो आप प्रोत्साहित करें उन तमाम लोगों को जो आपको सुन रहे हैं, खास करके वो युवा बच्चियां भी जो जुड़ी हैं हमारे साथ आज एसएम ग्लोबल यूनिवर्सिटी से।
थैंक यू मैडम, आप सबको मेरा बहुत बहुत प्रणाम, नमस्कार। आज आपने अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस 2021 इस अवसर पर पीएचडी चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स द्वारा जो विषय दिया है टू चैलेंज, चुनौती का चयन, इस विषय पर आपने वर्चुअल का ये प्रोग्राम रखा और मुझे जोड़ा है, इससे मैं आपको इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देती हूँ। आज इस कार्यक्रम में विशेष तौर पर माननीय श्री संजय अग्रवाल जी जो प्रेसिडेंट पीएचडी चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री, श्री प्रदीप मुल्तानी जी सीनियर वाइस प्रेसिडेंट पीएचडी चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स, श्री साकेत डालमिया जी वाइस प्रेसिडेंट पीएचडी चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स, डॉक्टर अरुणा अभय ओसवाल जी चेयरपर्सन वीमेन, डॉक्टर ब्लॉसम कोचर जी चेयरपर्सन पीएचडी चैम्बर, श्रीमती अर्चना अग्रवाल जी चेयरपर्सन पीएचडी चैम्बर, श्रीमती वर्तिका द्विवेदी जी चेयरपर्सन पीएचडी चैम्बर, श्री सौरभ सान्याल सेक्रेटरी जनरल पीएचडी चैम्बर, डॉक्टर योगेश श्रीवास्तव जी असिस्टेंट सेक्रेटरी जनरल पीएचडी चैम्बर, श्री शशांक रस्तोगी जी चेयरमैन छत्तीसगढ़ चैप्टर पीएचडी चैम्बर, श्री दिग्विजय धवारिया जी चेयरमैन राजस्थान चैप्टर, श्री प्रदीप कराम बेलकर जी मध्य प्रदेश चैप्टर, श्री विशाल चौधरी चेयरमैन झारखंड चैप्टर पीएचडी चैम्बर। और मुझे जैसा बताया गया है कि इसमें बहुत सारे हमारे यूथ छात्र और छात्राएं भी जुड़ी है। आप सबका मैं बहुत अभिनंदन करती हूँ इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस में और सभी को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ। पीएचडी चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री द्वारा अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस के अवसर पर आयोजित इस वेबिनार में शामिल होते हुए मुझे बहुत ही खुशी हो रही है और मैं इस संस्था के चेयरमैन, सेक्रेटरी जनरल, सभी पदाधिकारियों को बहुत बहुत बधाई और उनका स्वागत भी करती हूँ। आज हम महिलाओं को देखें तो वे पूरे विश्व में हर क्षेत्र में आगे बढ़ रही हैं। हम दुनिया के सबसे विकसित देश अमेरिका की बात करें तो वहां पर उपराष्ट्रपति के पद पर कमला हैरिस निर्वाचित हुई है। वह इस पद पर पहुंचने वाली पहली महिला होने के साथ एशियन अमेरिका मूल की निवासी है। यह गर्व की बात है। उनकी माता भारतीय है। इसी तरह से हमारे भारत देश में भी महिलाएं सभी क्षेत्रों में अपना परचम लहरा रही हैं। उनके लिए सेना में एक स्थायी कमीशन बनाने का निर्णय लिया गया है। यह महिलाओं को उनका अधिकार दिलाने की दिशा में महत्वपूर्ण कदम है। आज हमारे देश में वित्त मंत्री का दायित्व एक महिला श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमण जी संभाल रही हैं। मैं आपको ये बताना चाहूंगी, ये मेरे साथ 2000 से 2003 तक नेशनल वुमेन एंड कमीशन में मेरे साथ सदस्य रही हैं। ये मेरी बहुत अच्छी दोस्त, मुझे इस बात का बहुत गर्व भी है। छत्तीसगढ़ में भी महिलाएं कभी पीछे नहीं है। यहाँ कुछ जिलों में कलेक्टर के पद पर तो कुछ विभागों के प्रमुख पद पर तथा स्थानीय निकायों और पंचायत में महिला अपनी जिम्मेदारी बखूबी निभा रही है। मुझे भी छत्तीसगढ़ की पहली महिला राज्यपाल होने का अवसर प्राप्त हुआ। आपको शायद ये आश्चर्य होगा कि 125 करोड़ की इस आबादी में भारत देश में ये पहली बार आजादी के बाद शायद इतनी कभी देश में 7 गवर्नर महिला गवर्नर बनाए हैं। इसके लिए मैं मोदी जी को, प्रधानमंत्री जी को बहुत बहुत बधाई और उन्हें धन्यवाद देती हूँ कि ये अवसर उन्होंने महिलाओं को दिया है। और आप अब देख रही हैं एयरफोर्स में भी पहले गुंजन सक्सेना जैसी एकमात्र उस समय अकेली एयरफोर्स की वो पायलट के रूप में थी, और आज देखेंगे एयरफोर्स में कि कितनी बहनें सामने आई हैं। ये कितनी गर्व की बात है और ये हम सब के लिए बहुत ही खुशी भी है इस बात का। इस वर्ष पूरा विश्व कोरोना संकट से गुजर रहा है। उसी परिप्रेक्ष्य में वर्ष 2021 के अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस की थीम नेतृत्व में महिलाएं कोरोना काल में बढ़ती एक समान भविष्य की ओर निर्धारित किया गया है। यह कोरोना काल में सेवाएं देने वाली महिलाओं के योगदान को रेखांकित करने के लिए किया गया है। कोरोना काल में महिला शक्ति की भूमिका उभर कर सामने आई है। चाहे वह घर में हो, कार्य क्षेत्र में हो, सभी जगह उन्होंने कंधा से कंधा मिलाकर कार्य किया। हमारे प्रदेश में भी चाहे स्वास्थ्य विभाग की प्रमुख के रूप में, जिले के मुखिया के रूप में और एक महिला अधिकारी के रूप में तथा फील्ड में भी स्वास्थ्य और पुलिस तथा अन्य विभाग मैदानी अमले में महिलाओं ने घर घर के साथ अपनी जिम्मेदारी का निर्वहन किया है और कोरोना संकट का एकजुटता के साथ सामना किया है। कल अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस के उपलक्ष्य में मैं कई कार्यक्रमों में शामिल हुई और वहां पर काफी महिलाओं को मेरे द्वारा उनको सम्मान भी किया गया। और मैंने उस समय सभी बहनों को ये कहा था, आज आपका ये चुनौती का भी ये जो विषय आपने रखा है, चुनौतियों का चयन, मैंने उनको ये कहा था, अपने जीवन के संबंध में भी उनको जानकारी दी कि आज मैं इस मुकाम पर कैसे पहुंची। शायद बहुत लोग नहीं जानते, आप जैसी बहनें जो हमारी बैठी हुई हैं इस पद पर और काम कर रही हैं हर क्षेत्र में, तो शायद लगा होगा कि ये जीवन में हर कोई व्यक्ति महिलाओं के साथ इतना आसान नहीं होता है, इतने सामाजिक जीवन में हो, राजनीतिक या आपका प्रशासनिक सेवा में या बिजनेस में, हर महिला को अपने परिवार, समाज और लोगों के सामने जो परिस्थितियां आती है, जो चुनौती आती है, और वही महिला चुनौतियों का जो महिला सामना करती है वो ही जीवन में सफल भी होती है। तो मैंने उनको कहा था कि दृढ़ संकल्प, आत्मविश्वास, हौसला, संयम और मानवीय संवेदना और बिना निस्वार्थ और बिना किसी अपेक्षा के अगर जो समाज की और राष्ट्र की सेवा करती है, वैसी ऐसी महिला का हर जगह सम्मान होता है, समाज में भी और राष्ट्र में भी, और वो जीवन में सफल भी होती है। और वो इसीलिए मैं आपको कह रही हूं कि ये मैंने देखा है कि जिस परिप्रेक्ष्य परिवेश में मेरा बचपना रहा। मैं ग्रामीण परिवेश से एक बहुत ही मध्यम परिवार से अपना सेल्फ मेड, अपना खुद की पढ़ाई के लिए मैंने क्या काम किया, छोटे मोटे इस तरह का मैं घर घर में जाया करती थी, कुछ जिससे मुझे थोड़ा बहुत अर्निंग होती थी और कॉलेज की पढ़ाई। मगर लोग जो है उस जमाने के 80 के दशक में महिलाओं को चार दीवारी के अंदर और बेटियों को तो बाहर निकलने का मौका ही नहीं देते थे। और ऐसी परिस्थिति में घर से माता पिता को तो इससे बहुत मतलब दिक्कत उतनी नहीं होती थी जितना हमारे जो आसपास रहने वाले लोग कितना कमेंट्स करना, कितनी व्यंग और तमाम चीजों का मैंने उस समय ये चुनौती, एक चैलेंज दिया था कि इन लोगों को एक दिन मुझे कुछ करके बताना, क्योंकि मेरे अंदर एक जज्बा था समाज सेवा करने का। और कॉलेज स्टूडेंट लाइफ से ही मैंने अपने जीवन का सफर शुरू किया और पहली बार कॉलेज में स्टूडेंट लीडर रही मैं। वहां चुनाव लड़ा, फिर कॉलेज में व्याख्याता के पद पर, फिर राजनीति क्षेत्र में आई और फिर विधायक से मंत्री, मंत्री से सांसद और सांसद से वुमेन कमीशन और एसटी कमीशन और आज आपके बीच में मैं राज्यपाल के रूप में हूँ। तो बहनों को मैं हमेशा यही कहती हूँ और मैंने कल भी कहा था उनको 4 पंक्ति कहकर कि अगर हौसला हो तो पथ भी आसान होता है, नहीं तो रास्ता भी मौत के समान होता है। जो हिम्मत हारते हैं जिंदगी भी हार जाते हैं, जिनमें अगर हौसला होता है तो वो बाजी मार जाते हैं। कभी भी किसी भी परिस्थितियां आए, आप अपने आत्मविश्वास और एक हौसला को कभी तोड़ना नहीं। आप मुकाबला कर सकती हैं बहुत कुछ। और जिन बहनों में भी इस तरह का हौसला हो, आप देखते ना कि कहां पायलट से लेकर आज अंतरिक्ष और दुनिया में महिलाओं ने अपना परचम लहराया है। ये किस वजह से? एक अपना आत्मविश्वास, एक दृढ़ संकल्प, एक उनके अंदर वो ताकत है, कर सकती है। लेकिन उन सारी चीजों के लिए हमें उनका मार्गदर्शन, सही उनको संरक्षण और सही गाइडलाइंस अगर मिले तो कहां से कहां पहुंच सकती है। तो यही सारी जीवन में जो परिस्थितियां आई और कई बार तो मन बड़ा दुखी भी हो जाता था। ऐसे लोग जो हर क्षेत्र में जो नहीं चाहते हैं कि महिलाएं आगे बढ़े, ना जाने उनके ऊपर किस तरह के आरोप प्रत्यारोप, बहुत सारी चीजों से गुजरना पड़ता महिलाओं के लिए। तो मैंने अपने जीवन में अच्छे लोगों का भी मुझे संरक्षण मिला और उनका मार्गदर्शन मिला और मैंने अपना सोच लिया था कि मैं समाज के लिए और बिना किसी अपेक्षा के, मिले तो ठीक नहीं तो नहीं, लेकिन मैं तो काम करते रहूंगी। बहुत परिस्थितियां आई तो बहनों के लिए मैं कहती हूँ, जो मैं उन पंक्तियों को भी याद करती हूँ, बहुत हौसला मेरा अपना बढ़ता है। तो मैं आज इस मौके पर उन लोगों के लिए भी कहूंगी जो हमारी यूथ है, जो आगे बढ़ना चाहती है, उनके लिए ये संदेश देना चाहती हूँ कि परिस्थितियां कैसे भी आए, जीवन में सफलता असफलता हर व्यक्ति के जीवन में आती है, लेकिन उससे निराश नहीं होना, उससे घबराना नहीं चाहिए। ये परिस्थिति आती है चली जाती है। उन यूथ के लिए मैं कहना चाहूंगी कि हर सुबह शाम में ढल जाती है, हर तिमिर धूप में ढह जाता है। ए मेरे मन इस तरह उदास ना हो, वक्त कैसा भी है गुजर जाता है। ये जो पंक्तियां हैं हर बहनों के लिए मैं कहूंगी कि जीवन में ये सब चीजें आएगी और आपके मन में अगर दृढ़ संकल्प है, हौसला है, आत्मविश्वास है, निश्चित रूप से आप एक दिन जरूर सफल होंगी, ऐसा मेरी मतलब विश्वास है। और आज मैं इस अवसर पर सम्मानित सभी महिलाओं को शुभकामना देती हूँ और यह कामना करती हूँ कि महिलाएं हर क्षेत्र में एक ताकत बनकर उभरे और हमारे देश का और पूरे विश्व का ऊंचा करे। आपने मुझे जो सम्मान दिया, जो मुझे इसमें बोलने का मौका दिया, इसके लिए मैं पीएचडी चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स के सभी पदाधिकारी को, अध्यक्ष जी को, सभी आप सब लोगों को बहुत बहुत बधाई और धन्यवाद देती हूँ। मैं अपनी बात को यही समाप्त करती हूँ। नमस्कार।
नमस्कार। नमस्कार। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। हम हमसे अपना बहुत ही बेशकीमती समय आपने हमें दिया और इतनी सारी बातों से आपने हमें प्रेरित किया। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और मैं इस समय प्रार्थना करूंगी मिस्टर प्रदीप मुल्तानी जो सीनियर वाइस प्रेसिडेंट है PhD CCI के, वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए आप आए।
आप सभी को नमस्कार। मुझे अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस 2021 के अवसर पर आयोजित वेबिनार में धन्यवाद ज्ञापन सौभाग्य प्राप्त हुआ है। मैं आज की हमारी मुख्य अतिथि सुश्री अनुसुईया उके जी, माननीय राज्यपाल, छत्तीसगढ़ सरकार के इस वेबिनार का हिस्सा बनने के लिए अपना बहुमूल्य समय देने के लिए अपना कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करता हूं। आपको सुनना और सीखना अत्यंत हर्ष का विषय है। सुश्री अनुसुईया उके जी, माननीय राज्यपाल जी, आप सभी महिलाओं के लिए प्रेरणा स्रोत हैं। हम अनुरोध करते हैं कि आप जब भी दिल्ली आएं तो आप PhD के हेड ऑफिस में भी आएं व हमें आशीर्वाद दें। हम आज के वेबिनार में जो हमने सीखा है कि महिलाएं शक्ति, प्रेम, त्याग और साहस की प्रतीक हैं। आज की दुनिया में महिलाओं की भूमिका महत्वपूर्ण और बेहतर है। महिलाएं अब आत्मनिर्भर, अच्छी तरह से जागरूक और आर्थिक रूप से स्वतंत्र हैं। उन्हें हर क्षेत्र में अपार सफलता मिली है, चाहे वह खेल हो, राजनीति हो या शिक्षा क्षेत्र हो। सह शिक्षा के प्रोत्साहन के साथ महिलाएं अब जीवन के हर पड़ाव में पुरुषों के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर चल रही हैं। मैं उन सभी प्रतिनिधियों और अन्य सम्मानित अतिथियों को भी धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं जिन्हें इस सत्र में भाग लेने के लिए अपने व्यस्त कार्यक्रम से समय निकाला। मैं धन्यवाद देता हूं हमारे अध्यक्ष श्री संजय अग्रवाल जी का, वह हमारी डॉक्टर अरुणा अभय ओसवाल जी, चेयरपर्सन विमेंस एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप कमेटी PhD, श्री दिग्विजय ढबरिया, चेयर राजस्थान चैप्टर PhD, मिस्टर प्रदीप करमबेलकर, चेयरमैन MP चैप्टर, श्री विशाल चौधरी, चेयरमैन झारखंड चैप्टर PhD, श्री शशांक रस्तोगी, चेयरमैन छत्तीसगढ़ चैप्टर PhD, श्रीमती अनुराधा गोयल, चेयरपर्सन PhD फैमिली वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन, डॉक्टर ब्लॉसम कोचर, को-चेयर विमेन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप कमेटी PhD, श्रीमती अर्चना अग्रवाल, को-चेयरपर्सन विमेन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप कमेटी PhD, मिस वर्तिका द्विवेदी, को-चेयरपर्सन विमेन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप कमेटी, श्री सौरभ सन्याल, सेक्रेटरी जनरल PhD कमेटी। मैं हमारे आज के प्रायोजकों को धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं जिनके समर्थन के बिना यह वेबिनार सफल नहीं होता। अरुणा अभय ओसवाल ग्रुप, ब्लॉसम कोचर ब्यूटी प्रोडक्ट्स प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, जेम्स एंड ज्वेल्स, बिग सी मैरकॉम इंडिया प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, ढबरिया प्लाईवुड लिमिटेड, ट्राइडेंट सॉल्यूशन, यूफ्लेक्स लिमिटेड, सैम ग्लोबल यूनिवर्सिटी भोपाल, रामराज सर्विसेज प्राइवेट लिमिटेड। मैं डॉक्टर योगेश श्रीवास्तव, सहायक प्रमुख निर्देशक, और उनकी पूरी टीम को उनकी कड़ी मेहनत और इस वेबिनार को सफल बनाने के लिए किए गए लगातार प्रयासों के लिए अपने हृदय तल से धन्यवाद देता हूं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
मैडम एक बात बोलनी थी मुझे, बोलूं मैं? जी
प्लीज।
अब वो भूल गई कि एक महिला गवर्नर के रूप में मैं ये छत्तीसगढ़ राज्य में एक जो कंसेप्ट होता था कि गवर्नर को आम पब्लिक से कोई मतलब उतना ज्यादा नहीं रहता था, ये पहली बार मैंने एक कंसेप्ट जो है गवर्नर के रूप में, और ये छत्तीसगढ़ के इतिहास में शायद कभी लोगों से ये मतलब सोचा भी नहीं था। मैंने करीब 1 साल के अंदर 4-5 महीने का तो मैं बताना था, इसलिए आपको लिए बहुत है कि एक महिला के लिए मुझे भी और सभी बहनों के लिए गर्व की बात है कि करीब 10,000 लोगों से मैं मुलाकात राजभवन में मिली, और सबके लिए मैंने पहली बार राजभवन के दरवाजा उनके लिए खोला, अमीर से अमीर और गरीब, और जिसके लिए मुझे गोल्डन बुक ऑफ वर्ल्ड का अवार्ड भी मिला है। ये इसलिए कि एक महिला का ये जो काम मैं कर रही हूँ, आप ये इस बात का गर्व है। मैं इसलिए आपको बता रही थी, भूल गई थी।
ये बहुत बड़ी बात बताई आपने मैडम, क्योंकि गवर्नर को बिल्कुल आपने सही बोला कि लोग एक अलग स्थान पर रखते हैं, ऊंचा स्थान जरूर है, लेकिन पब्लिक से मिलना और पब्लिक के करीब जाना, ये जो आपने कार्य किया है, ये यही एक फर्क है। जहाँ लेडीज आती हैं, विमेन जितने कंपैशन और जितने प्रेम से मिल सकती हैं, वो शायद आदमी लोगों के बस की नहीं है। तो ये इसी बात का एक बहुत बड़ा फायदा मिलता है जहाँ हमारी लीडर्स वुमेन होती है।
जी जी जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
गवर्नर साहिबा,
जी।
आपने बहुत प्राउड फील करवाया आज। बहुत गर्व महसूस हो रहा है हम सब महिलाओं को कि आपने इतना अच्छा काम किया। पहली बार इतनी महिलाओं को आप मिली, सबको आपने एनकरेज किया, उनको बहुत प्रोत्साहन दिया। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका। थैंक यू।
बहुत बहुत
Your
शुक्रिया,
Honor.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका हमें समय देने के लिए। और अभी कुछ और महिलाओं को सम्मानित करने का समय है उत्कृष्टता सम्मान के साथ, क्योंकि इन महिलाओं ने बहुत ही सुंदर काम किया है अपने अपने क्षेत्र में। और इसके लिए मैं इस समय राजस्थान राज्य से जिन लोगों को सम्मान दिया जा रहा है उनके नाम आपको बता दूं। बशीरन बानो हैं और चंद्रा गुर्जर हैं। सबसे पहले आपको बशीरन बानो के बारे में बताऊं। बशीरन जो हैं वो कोटा डोरिया साड़ीज बनाने में जुड़ी हैं पिछले 27 साल से, और सिर्फ बनाने में ही नहीं बल्कि उसमें बहुत खूबसूरत डिजाइन उन्होंने इनोवेट किया है उसको, इसमें वो जुड़ी हुई हैं। और इसका ही नतीजा है कि वो डिजाइनर साड़ियां जो बनाती हैं उसने बहुत सारे पुरस्कार जीते हैं, नेशनल मेरिट सर्टिफिकेट मिला है। डिजाइनर साड़ीज को कई एग्जीबिशन और एक्सपोज में दिखाया गया है। उन्होंने एक सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप बनाया है, कोटा महिला बुनकर संस्था, और उन्होंने ट्रेनिंग देनी शुरू की है कोटा साड़ी बनाने वाली महिलाओं को इस सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप के जरिए। और इसकी वजह से रूरल अर्बन डेवलपमेंट एजेंसी जो है राजस्थान सरकार की, उनके साथ मिलकर इन्होंने कॉमन फैसिलिटी सेंटर बनाया है, जिसकी वो चेयरमैन है। और इसने उस इलाके में बहुत सारी महिलाओं को प्रोत्साहन दिया है कि वो इससे जुड़े, ट्रेनिंग लें। खास करके जो हारोती एरिया है, गांव है, रोटाडा, सीसवाली, मांगरोल, ये सब वो जगह हैं जो कोटा डोरिया साड़ी का गढ़ माने जाते हैं। तो इस इलाके में बशीरन बानो ने बहुत ही सुंदर काम किया है। तो मैं इस समय रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी मिस्टर संजय अग्रवाल, डॉक्टर अरुणा अभय ओसवाल और मिस्टर दिग्विजय ढाबरिया के सम्मानित करें उत्कृष्टता सम्मान से बशीरन बानो को। जी, और राजस्थान से बहुत बहुत बधाई हो आपको बशीरन। और इस राजस्थान से
बशीरन बानो, आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई हम सब की ओर से। वी आर ऑल प्राउड ऑफ यू, हमें आप पर बहुत गर्व है।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर, बहुत शुक्रिया सर। इतना बड़ा प्रोग्राम में आपने मुझे याद किया, मतलब उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर।
ये आपका जो कार्य है ये एक जो है पूरे देश के लिए इंस्पिरेशन है, सारी वुमेन के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी प्रोत्साहन है कि सब लोग जो हम चाहते हैं वो हम करके दिखा सकते हैं, और आपने करके दिखाया है खुद। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका आने के लिए।
जी
शुक्रिया सर,
बधाई हो
बहुत
आपको,
शुक्रिया।
बधाई हो। राजस्थान से एक और सम्मान, चंद्रा गुर्जर हमारे साथ हैं। चंद्रा गुर्जर को उत्कृष्टता सम्मान से सम्मानित किया जा रहा है। उनका जो काम है उसके बारे में आप सब लोगों को बता दूं। शी बिलोंग्स टू ट्रेडिशनल आर्टिजन्स फैमिली एंड प्रैक्टिस दिस क्राफ्ट ऑफ लेदर मोजरी जूतीज फॉर द लास्ट 52 years, 52 सालों से वो ये मोजरी जूतियां जो बनाने का काम है वो करती आई हैं। इन ऑर्डर टू क्रिएट मार्केट लिंकेजेस for promotion of mortuaries, Miss Chandra took initiatives in connecting with Development Commissioner Handicraft. She participated in a large number of marketing events organized by the office of the commissioner and throughout the country to sell these. And she not only earned good profit but also explored the craftsmanship on new products. She has been playing a very important role in providing employment to needy artisans and motivated large number of women and other artisans to join this craft for earning their livelihood. She is a master trainer. She's been guiding craftsmen on new design material and other innovative practices for promotion of Mojari art. She's also the recipient of State Handicraft Award of 2008-2009 and National Merit Certificate of 2012. She also received the National Award for Excellence in Leather Mojari Juti Craft. So may I please request here Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, Dr. Aruna Bay Oswal, and Mr. Digvijay Dabria, Chairman Rajasthan Chapter, to present this Utkrishtata Samman to Ms. Chandra Gurjar. तो बहुत बहुत बधाई हो आपको चंद्रा जी और बशीरन, आप दोनों को बहुत बहुत बधाई हो और बहुत धन्यवाद आप लोगों का कि आप शामिल हुई इस कार्यक्रम में। इतने सारे लोगों को आपने रोजगार के मौके दिए हैं। आप न सिर्फ अपने लिए नाम कमा रही हैं पर इतने सारे लोगों को ट्रेनिंग दी है और रोजगार के लिए आप अपॉर्चुनिटीज उनके लिए क्रिएट कर रही हैं। धन्यवाद आपका। और
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद चंद्रा जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका और बहुत बहुत बधाई आप
जी। और इसके साथ ही मैं बताना चाहूंगी कि हम अपने अगले सेशन की तरफ अब बढ़ते हैं। हमारा पहला सेशन जो है वो है रोल ऑफ women in the 21st century, challenging biases and aiming to create a gender equal world. और मैं आपको बता दूं कि इसमें हमारे साथ जुड़ रही हैं मिस शालू जिंदल, renowned कुचिपुड़ी exponent and chairperson of JSPL Foundation. तो इसके अलावा हमारे साथ जो तमाम लोग जुड़ेंगे, हम एक एक करके इन तमाम लोगों के बारे में आपको जानकारी देंगे। Miss Shalu Jindal is a disciple of Padma Vibhushan Gurus. Welcome Shalu Jindal. Very warm welcome to you. And let me just tell everybody a little bit about you, though I'm sure everybody knows of all the wonderful things that you do. But let me just introduce you. Formally, you were of Padma Vibhushan Gurus, Raja and Radha and Kaushalya Reddy have been your gurus. You're a highly accomplished Kuchipudi dancer and a noted social contributor, the chairperson of JSPL Foundation, ex-chairperson of National Bal Bhavan, and the founder president of Young Fiqhi Ladies Organization, the YELO. Ms. Jindal has opened Jindal Art Institute with the aim of spreading far and wide the rich artistic heritage of India and world with the masses. She has been honored with many awards for her outstanding achievement in the field of Indian classical dance and contribution in the field of art and culture, education and community development, recent ones being the Mahatma Award for Leadership in Corporate Social Responsibility in 2019, Golden Peacock Award on Social Cultural Leadership in London, and the Eklavya Award in Singapore in the year 2019. May I please request Mr. Pradeep Multani and Dr. Blossom Kochhar to present the citation and the plaque to Ms. Shalu Jindal.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your kind introduction.
Welcome once again to you, Shalu Jindal, and I would request you now to address everyone. They've been waiting to hear you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today's topic is a topic which is very close to my heart, and I would like to share my thoughts about it with all of you today. When you see a woman speaker scheduled to speak on the topic of role of women in the 21st century, you know you're going to hear some key phrases: feminism, patriarchy, and glass ceiling perhaps. I would love to not follow the usual, but the reality for many women begs to differ. Despite 73 years since independence and several nationwide schemes to empower women in education, employment, and finance, the situation for women in India has improved, but it is far from equal. If you look around you, especially in this panel, there seems to be overwhelming evidence that women are succeeding in almost all spheres, be it academics, politics, business, administration, arts, or social work. But do not let the cover stories on Indra Nooyi or Mangla Mani fool you. Gender-based challenges exist in all of these spheres. The few women who break the glass ceilings are not the trend, but the outliers. While we applaud their accomplishment, we must also humbly acknowledge that these are as much stories of hard work, persistence, and discipline as they are of social and economic privilege and luck. Their reality, my reality, must be contrasted against those of less fortunate women in India who struggle to even have access to healthcare, a basic right, let alone access to education and financial independence. We all know this. We must have heard this or read about this somewhere. But let me impress upon you the prejudice women face in healthcare alone. According to a study conducted by AIMS, only 37% of women had access to healthcare, and of them, a woman's reproductive age was a huge determining factor on whether they could see a doctor or not. It was not until 2018 that sanitary products were not taxed, and even then, the use and access to hygiene products for many rural Indian women and girls is negligent. The problem lies as much with healthcare infrastructure as with patriarchal mindset. When it comes to education, despite initiatives by the government in terms of legislative and infrastructure, India continues to have one of the lowest female literacy rates. Nearly 84% women are prevented from completing their degrees, dropping out due to established power structures that favor domestic labor, marriage, and home safety for women and girls. The good work of people like Savitribai Phule to bridge the case and gender gap in female education is not yet complete. We still need to continue advocating for women's education and grow opportunities for women to translate their learning to real life benefits. The development of women entrepreneurship in India is very low, especially in semi-rural and rural parts of India. It is not because women are not aware of their rights or their opportunities, but that systematic lack and powerlessness has been internalized so much by these women, even from the middle class, that they do not want to shake family dynamics, alter roles out of fear of social backlash. This means that India is losing out on approximately 150 to 170 million jobs that women entrepreneurship can bring in. Imagine the exponential growth that means for the country. This is why facilitating women empowerment and supporting women entrepreneurship initiatives should be everyone's cause because it helps everyone. Every girl and woman has a lot to offer to herself, her sisters, her family, the community, and the country. From very early on in my life, I had a realization that it was important for me to use my privileged position to make a larger impact. My interest in education, the arts, culture, and gender equality have led me to work in my personal capacity and with the JSPL Foundation to set up projects to fight infant mortality, build nutrition and good health among young women, train tribal youth in a range of professional skills, apart from providing clean drinking water, different farming opportunities in the Indian states of Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Jharkhand. These projects have grown over the years and had a positive impact in shaping the lives of about 2 million people. Empowering rural women with skills so that they are economically independent is very important to me. As a mother, I realize how love and affection is important for children with special needs. JSPL Foundation runs a successful project called Asha the Home, in which I am personally involved. Indian traditional knowledge, customs, and traditions need to be preserved and promoted. With our foundation, we encourage and support tribal arts, craft, music, and dance. We need to inspire our children, especially our girls, to dream big and to dream the impossible. Our leadership programs in various states across India help recognize and create leaders who are trained to teach those skills and empower another generation of leaders. At JSPL Foundation, we are committed to making a difference. We want to bridge that gap, that economic class and social status, sometimes even location, creates for the underprivileged, especially women. It is by no means completed. We have a long way to go, but we are building on our small steps and have come so far with many more miles to go. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Nagma, can I say a line? I'm feeling, can you hear me? I'm feeling so proud today for Shalu, as I am her mother. And I'm feeling so proud to see her speaking so confidently. I knew she is a great, great, great leader. She's doing wonderful work, which we all are proud of her. And thank you, Shalu, for gracing this occasion as a speaker in our PhD WEC committee. And everybody is really appreciating you. I'm getting so many messages for you. So thank you, Beta, and may God bless you. And may you go a long, long way with JSPL Foundation.
Mom, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And as I've already told you so many times, you are my inspiration.
Very good. Fantastic.
That's wonderful.
God bless.
Aruna ji,
That's-
PIT Chamber is proud of you and Shalu ji. You both are role models for all of us.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
That's actually
Mother.
amazing. It is so beautiful to see a mother-daughter duo so successful, accomplished in their own fields, and being each other's companion and inspiration. So, congratulations to both of you, Aruna ji and to Shalu. And on that note, let's move ahead. Here, I would like to introduce Ms. Neha Mittal, who is the national chairperson, Ekal Yuva. She was born and brought up in a family whose where social service was religiously followed. Ms. Neha had intense passion for serving the community and work for the welfare of the underprivileged, particularly women and children from rural and tribal localities. Currently, she is the national chairperson of Ekal Yuva, a non-profit organization on a mission to bring basic education to every child across rural India and empower the village folk through skilling and creation of self-help groups. Her aim is to take it to a level where each and every citizen of India would have Ekal on their minds and know that education and development of rural and tribal people is absolutely important or is of utmost importance to the country. Ekal is currently running 100,000 schools across tribal villages of India, benefiting over 24 lakh children. That's a very, very commendable work there, Ms. Neha Mittal. I really welcome you here on this platform. And I would request Mr. Pradeep Multani and Dr. Blossom Kochhar to present the citation and the plaque to Ms. Neha Mittal.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
And Neha, I would request you for your address and to address this whole gathering. And we all are aware of the amazing work that you're doing, especially in the field of education in rural areas. That's commendable.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Honorable Governor of Chhattisgarh, Ms. Anusuya Ji Uke, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal ji, President PhD CCI, Dr. Aruna ji Oswal, Chairperson WEC, Co-Chairpersons WEC, and all eminent dignitaries. A very good evening to all. It is an honor for me to be here today, and I'm really thankful to PhD for inviting me on the occasion of International Women's Day celebration. I'm sure all of you will agree with me that woman is God's strongest creation, and her role is to create. A well-known management guru, Peter Drucker, once quoted, "The best way to predict future is to create it, and who better than a woman to do this job?" If we give the future of the nation in the hands of a woman, we can be assured of a bright one. And keeping the same in mind, we at ACL, which is the largest NGO in India, have empowered women by appointing more than 70% female acharyas in 1 lakh schools across the tribal villages of India. And among the 25 lakh ACL students, more than 50% are girls. So in our case, the saying goes, you educate a woman and the entire village gets educated. At ACL, we follow a 5-point development program that includes primary and digital literacy, skilling and vocational training, health awareness, sanskar shiksha, and empowerment education. I would like to share a true incident at one of our ACL villages. So we were visiting a village named Belwan in Uttar Pradesh a few years ago. We met a young girl named Savitri, who was recently married into this village. Her husband seemed much older and was mostly under the influence of alcohol. And Savitri looked very weak and pale. But when we got to know that she had studied up to class 10th in her previous village, we convinced her to join our training camp. And within 3 months, she became a teacher and changed the face of her village from loitering kids to enthusiastic, well-mannered children. She also started motivating other women to join our skilling center. Soon, the group of ladies started making beautiful cane baskets, pattals, and donas, which are now sold at the local haats, and they're used at weddings in all nearby villages. So you can see, Savitri, despite being a young girl who just passed her 10th class, did wonders with just a little support against all odds. Doesn't this story tell us how important the role of a woman is? And yet she faces challenges and biases at every level. Why was Savitri not allowed to study further and married off to an older man who spent his day intoxicated? Changing such scenarios in rural India will lead to true women empowerment, which in turn will change the face of India and make us global leaders. I feel delighted to let you know that our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, has been mentoring us since he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. He regularly takes out time to get an update on our work and personally gives us targets. He had given us a target of establishing 1 lakh ACL Vidyalayas by 2022, and we achieved it much earlier in 2019 itself. We are now aiming at integrated village development projects, where women will play a significant role as teachers, trainers, health workers, and entrepreneurs. So just like Savitri, let us all choose to challenge and hope for a gender-equal India. I would like to add that since the age of 14, I have been working with this NGO, and it has been a life-changing experience for me. So as a 14-year-old child, when I visited the first village in Jharkhand near Ranchi, I was taken aback by the reality and the way people in Jharkhand would live. At that time, it was still not Jharkhand, it was Orissa, but there were women who would have to share a single sari, so only one woman would come out of the house at a time. And these were the dire realities which I, as a 14-year-old girl, had to see myself. And since then, for me, it has been a dream to be able to do as much as I can for the people, and especially for the women who are living in these dire conditions and still facing life and still rising up to the occasion. So I think they are really the true heroes today. And I always wish that and pray that God gives me the strength to continue working for them as much as I can. And finally, I would just like to conclude with these thoughts. I may be the sari kind or the skirt kind, but I wear my heart on my sleeve. I may be the fair skin or the wheatish complexion make, but my ethics are beyond skin deep. I'm a daughter each time I move away from my parents. I'm a sister each time I give the much needed advice. I'm a mother each time I clean up the mess that someone else creates. But you will need the woman in me, in every smile and every mile, in every tear, in every cheer. Happy Women's Day to all of you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
नेहा जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका. Thank you so much. Beautiful quote you told us today. Really appreciate. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you, Neha. And our next esteemed panelist is Ms. Richa Sanchita. She's an advocate with the Jharkhand High Court. I would like to introduce, very, very warm welcome to you, Ms. Richa Sanchita. I would like to introduce everyone to Ms. Richa. She has been a practicing advocate since 2002 at various forums and fields and is enrolled at Jharkhand. She has a degree in LLB from Chota Nagpur Law College, Ranchi, a postgraduate diploma in personnel management from NIPM, Calcutta, and a master's diploma in software technology from Uptron ACL, Ranchi. She has been working as a senior standing counsel of Jharkhand Academic Council, retainer advocate of Jharkhand State Pollution Control Board, retainer advocate of MECON, standing counsel of Accountant General CAT and High Court, and as an advocate of Jharkhand State Housing Board and Jharkhand Staff Selection Commission. That's a lot of achievement there for you, Ms. Richa Sanchita, and I would now request Mr. Pradeep Multani and Dr. Blossom Kochhar to first present the citation and the plaque to Ms. Richa Sanchita. And then after that, for a special address by Ms. Richa.
Thank you so much, and a very warm good afternoon to all. It's my privilege to be one of the panelists before this eminent forum. I'm Richa. I'm a practicing advocate in Jharkhand High Court, as you all know. मैं पहले अपने बारे में कुछ शेयर करना चाहूँगी. जब मैंने ज्वाइन किया हाई कोर्ट, उस वक्त झारखंड स्टेट जस्ट बना था, और उस वक्त झारखंड हाई कोर्ट जब क्रिएट हुआ तो वी वर ऑलमोस्ट ओनली 15 लेडी एडवोकेट्स देयर. और जब मैंने शुरू किया तो मेरे जो सीनियर थे उन्होंने कहा, अभी तुम्हारी शादी हुई है, कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं होगा कि शादी के बाद 1-2 साल में तुम छोड़ दोगे, सारी लड़कियां यही करती हैं. तो आई टूक इट एज चैलेंज. आई चूज टू चैलेंज एट दैट मोमेंट ऑफ टाइम. आई टोल्ड माय सीनियर कि सर ऐसा नहीं होगा, आई विल बी हियर एंड यू विल सी माय परफॉर्मेंस. So that's why now I am here, and now it's my I'm very proud to say that right now our Jharkhand High Court has more than 800 practicing advocates in just 20 years of span after the creation of Jharkhand. जैसा कि हम लोग जानते हैं कि इंडिया में भारत में महिलाओं को बोला जाता है कि they are homemakers, but in this 21st century, because of higher education or global awareness, now the women are coming out, but thereafter also there are various things, various biasness. I'll just put forward some data. According to the World Bank data released in June 2020, India's female labor force participation is the lowest in South Asia. Even less than 1/4 of women aged above 15 and older participate in labor force as of 2020. Even we can say that in the top management positions, there are almost only 8.9% firms have women in top management positions. Even women account for only 13.8% of board of directors from listed companies. So now, in spite of the work, in spite of the various efforts, we are lacking behind. जैसे हमारे ऑनरेबल गवर्नर मैडम ने बोला था कि हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं, कुछ लोग आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, बट वो एक सिंबल बन के रह गए हैं. हमें अगर हमारा जेंडर बायसनेस को छोड़ के 50% वर्कफोर्स पे जब तक वुमेन नहीं आती है तब तक वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट पे हम बात करते ही रहना पड़ेगा हमें, और वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट पे आगे बढ़ना होगा। अगर जैसे मैं एडवोकेट हूँ, अगर मैं जुडिशरी की बात करूँ तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट और हाई कोर्ट में टोटल स्ट्रेंथ है 1113 का जजेज का, जिसमें अभी सिर्फ 80 वुमेन जजेज हैं, जिसमें 2 सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हैं, 2 सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हैं, 78 आर इन वेरियस हाई कोर्ट्स, और कंप्राइजिंग ओनली 7.2% ऑफ टोटल नंबर ऑफ जजेस। अगर हम बात करते हैं जो टॉप प्रीमियर सर्विस मानी जाती है यूपीएससी की, तो लास्ट ईयर यूपीएससी के टोटल बैच में क्वालिफाइड सिविल सर्वेंट्स थे 759 एंड जस्ट वुमेन वेर देयर ऑफ 182 इन नंबर। इवन हमारे पार्लियामेंट में भी अब भी अगर देखा जाए तो लोकसभा में 542 मेंबर्स हैं, वी हैव ओनली 64 एमपीज, एंड राज्यसभा में 245 मेंबर्स, वी हैव 27 मेंबर्स ऑफ राज्यसभा एमपीज। तो ये है कि हम काम कर रहे हैं, आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, लेकिन इंडिया में अभी भी वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है। इसके लिए इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन सिस्टम में देयर वर वेरियस लॉज for protection of women from domestic violence act 2005, even there were earlier acts also, just like dowry prohibition act, even for workplace उत्पीड़न से बचाव के लिए we have the sexual harassment of women at workplace prevention, prohibition and redressal act 2013. We have rights against female feticides, but thereafter also the gender ratio is right now it's 948 in 2021. तो ये है कि इतना काम हो रहा है, लेकिन तो भी हमें बहुत और काम करने की जरूरत है। अभी भी अगर देखा जाए तो इक्वल पे फॉर इक्वल वर्क, इक्वल पे एक्ट 2010 में आ गया है, जिससे कि वर्किंग वुमेन को इक्वल पे प्रोटेक्शन का अधिकार दिया गया है। लेकिन अगर तब भी देखा जाए एज एन एवरेज, तो सेम वर्क के लिए वुमेन को कम रेम्यूनरेशन मिलता है बनिस्बत की मेल काउंटर पार्ट को। अगर हम राइट टू प्रॉपर्टी की बात करते हैं, तो हिंदू सक्सेशन एक्ट 2005 अमेंडमेंट के पहले लड़कियों को उनकी प्रॉपर्टी में राइट ही नहीं मिलता था। द नोबेल लॉरेट अमर्त्य सेन हैज वंस सेड, women can become agents of change if 4 conditions are fulfilled. They acquire more than basic education, they have legal rights of ownership of property, they have an independent source of income, and finally they can work outside the home. In India, most rural and perhaps the majority of urban women have begun to enjoy only the first of these conditions, and that too only recent decades. The remaining 3 conditions still remain absent. Not surprisingly, India ranks very low at any indicator of gender equality in the world. तो आज के पैनल डिस्कशन से मैं सिर्फ यही कहना चाहूंगी कि हम लोग आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, लेकिन इस जेंडर इक्वलिटी को जो चूज टू चैलेंज, जो इस बार का हमारा थीम है, वी हैव टू चूज टू चैलेंज। तो देयर आर वुमेन, वी आर ऑन आवर प्रोफेशन, वी हैव चूज टू चैलेंज आवर सिस्टम, बट लेकिन इसके लिए हमें अभी भी मिलके काम करना होगा, साथ में काम करना होगा, एक माहौल घर में, ऑफिस में बनाना होगा, जिससे कि लेडीज को, वुमेन को ये ना लगे कि जब वो बाहर निकलती हैं तो वो सिक्योर नहीं है। इंडिया में पेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी के कारण मिडिल क्लास में अभी भी है, लड़कियां पढ़ रही हैं, बाहर जॉब कर रही हैं, लेकिन उनकी घरेलू रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज अभी तक कम नहीं हुई हैं। तो हमें इस बारे में भी थोड़ा सोचना चाहिए। अगर हम कोविड-19 की बात करते हैं तो डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस बहुत बढ़ा है, क्योंकि आदत नहीं है घर पे लोगों को, पुरुषों को काम करने की। वो चाहते हैं कि वुमेन ऑफिस भी देख रही हैं और घर में हैं तो घर का काम भी बराबर कर रही हैं, करें। तो ये माइंडसेट थोड़ा हमें बदलने की जरूरत है, इस पे हमें काम करने की जरूरत है। आगे वाले जनरेशन को हमें ये बताने की जरूरत है कि वी शुड बी जेंडर न्यूट्रल। हमारे बेटे हो या बेटी हो, आपको दोनों को घर का भी काम देखना है और बाहर भी देखना चाहिए और घर भी देखना चाहिए, जिससे कि इंडियन वुमेन का पार्टिसिपेशन बढ़े, उन्हें एक सिक्योर्ड माहौल मिले और वो फ्री होके बाहर, जब अपने प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में बाहर निकल के काम कर सके। तो हमें एक ऐसा समाज, ऐसा सोसाइटी बनाना चाहिए जहाँ पे वर्क प्लेस में वर्किंग वुमेन के लिए इनसिक्योरिटी नहीं रहे, जो कि अभी के समय में एक ज्वलंत मुद्दा है। बट इसमें एक चीज और अच्छी बात ये हो रही है, अगर हम सॉफ्टवेयर सेक्टर की बात करें तो सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट में नाउ इट हैज attained a 50-50% ratio almost, because it's more than 30%, so we can say that it has attained a quite good ratio. But as far as other areas are concerned, as I earlier submitted, that data shows that we have to work hard. The women has to perceive, the perseverance is required, because if we'll perceive, we'll work hard, then we will achieve. So now the situation is that we are working, but the society has to change a little bit. जहाँ पे महिलाओं को ऑफिस में असुरक्षा महसूस ना हो, उन्हें ये ना लगे कि वो किसी से कम है, वो आगे बढ़ें और बराबरी में काम करें, क्योंकि जहाँ भी मौका मिला है औरतों को, उन्होंने अपने आप को प्रूव किया है। जैसे मैं बात करना चाहूंगी गीता गोपीनाथ की। Geeta Gopinath, Mrs. Geeta Gopinath is the Chief Economist of International Monetary Fund, the IMF. And I am very proud to say that she is the first woman ever to assume this position. तो ये हमारे एग्जाम्पल्स हैं। हम अगर लड़कियों को बोलते हैं कि आप देखो, पढ़ो और आगे बढ़ो, हम बात कर सकते हैं टेसी थॉमस की, जिन्हें हम अग्निपुत्री बोलते हैं। बट ये इंडिविजुअल अचीवमेंट्स हैं जो धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, लेकिन हमें अपने समाज को और बैलेंस बनाना है, जहाँ पे महिलाएं पुरुष के साथ कंधा से कंधा मिलाकर काम कर सकें और अपनी सुरक्षा के प्रति जागरूक हो।
जी माफ कीजिएगा रिचा जी, मैं बीच में बस 1 मिनट का समय लूंगी। मैं बस यहाँ पे एक अनाउंसमेंट करना ये चाहती हूँ कि चूंकि हम लोग अपने समय से आधे घंटे पीछे हैं और आप सब लोगों के पास बहुत सारी बातें हैं शेयर करने के लिए, पर मैं सबसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि जो समय है उसको 5 से 7 मिनट तक ही हम सीमित रखें।
नहीं हूँ, क्योंकि इसके साथ ही अब कर रही हूँ, क्योंकि ये मैं बातों को मैंने रख दिया है, तो बस मैं चाहूंगी कि हम लोग बस मिलके आगे बढ़ें और वुमेन फ्रेंडली माहौल बनाने में की कोशिश करें।
Thank you so much, and I would now request for a vote of thanks. I would like to invite Mr. Saurabh Sanyal, Secretary General, PhD CCI.
Thank you, Nagma ji. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Without much ado, at the outset, I would like to wish all the women leaders, the women achievers, and the women entrepreneurs who have joined us today on this beautiful seminar and webinar celebrating International Women's Day 2021 with the theme Choose to Challenge. Ms. Shalu Jindal, renowned Kuchipudi exponent.
But there seems to be a bit of a pan problem there. We've lost the line, Mr. Saurabh Sanyal, and I can see the video has frozen. But in the meantime, let me just take this opportunity to, we would like to have Mr. Saurabh Sanyal once the line is back, but let me tell you that we have, also we are giving the Samman to some of the women from Madhya Pradesh, the Utkrishtata Samman. Ms. Preeti Saluja is one of those persons. She's the Chancellor, SAM Global University, Bhopal, and I would like to tell you, Ms. Preeti Saluja is an engineering postgraduate from Manet, Bhopal, currently the Chancellor of SAM Global University, which is one of the oldest educational groups of Central India with more than 5 decades of experience in revolutionizing this scenario of higher education. And let me also remind everyone that today we have about 1100 students, young students, who have joined in from SAM Global University, Bhopal. So under her,
Nagma-ji, I am back.
All right. Saurabh-ji, let me just.
I just got disconnected because there was a lot of internet traffic.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'll resume.
Sure.
It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for the session, the role of women in 21st century, challenging biases and aiming to create a gender equal world celebrating International Women's Day. I would like to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to our eminent panelists, Ms. Shalu Jindal ji, Ms. Neha Mittal ji, and Ms. Richa Sanchita ji for giving their beautiful discourses and setting an example for the women leadership today. I would like to thank our sponsors, without whose support this seminar would not have been successful. Aruna Abhay Oswal Group, Blossom Kocha Beauty Products Private Limited, Gems and Jewels, Big C Macron India Private Limited, Dabria Bollywood Limited, Trident Solution, Uflex Limited, STAM Global University Bhopal, Ramraj Services Private Limited. I would like to thank our chairs of Rajasthan chapter, MP chapter, Jharkhand chapter and Chhattisgarh chapter, and our co-chairpersons of the Women Entrepreneurship Committee for having spared their valuable time and joined this conference, which was a very important webinar today on celebrating International Women's Day. I convey my sincere thanks to my team led by Dr. Yogesh Srivastav, the Assistant Secretary General, and his team, entire team of officers for their hard work and consistent efforts to make this webinar a great success. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much for that very, very emphatic and very brief message there, Saurabh Sanyal. So let me continue with Preeti Saluja. And let me tell you that Mrs. Saluja has always been passionate about gender equality and has been working towards women empowerment, gender equality awareness programs, and inculcating commitment among the youth. She also leads the skill development vertical of SAM Group and has led various projects like PMKVY, DDU-GKY, Antyavasai projects, etc. She has also been conferred upon with various awards such as the Youth Guru by Regional Science Center, Women's Excellence Awards, Samarprita Women's Excellence Award by Agniban Press, Women's Empowerment Award, Best Group for Placement by Dr. Satyapal Singh, MOS for HRD Government of India, and the Best Group for Girls Education by Honorable Finance Minister of India, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman. And may I request Mr. Sanjay Agarwal and Dr. Aruna Abhay Oswal and Mr. Pradeep Karambelkar to present the citation and plaque to Ms. Preeti Saluja. And now we have the next, हमने उत्कृष्टता सम्मान एक और महिला को मध्य प्रदेश से जा रहा है, मिस पूनम श्रुति, जो कि फाउंडर हैं उडिप वेलफेयर सोसाइटी की. She has a rare brittle bone disease, osteogenesis imperfecta by birth, where a person cannot walk and faces multiple fractures. Irrespective of this, she attended school, college as a normal child. It did not deter her indomitable spirit to be successful. She decided to help numerous other specially challenged individuals for enhancing their personalities. She formed the Udip Welfare Society for Disabled Empowerment, Women Empowerment and Rural Development. She's currently running a skill development center for differently abled candidates under PMKVY for their skill development and placement. She's also running campaigns for inclusion for disabled in our society, an online campaign, Go for Positivity to fight against Corona. She was among the 100 women achievers across India by Ministry of Women and Child Development under the category of disability and disadvantage. In 2016, she received recognition from the then President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee. She has been felicitated by numerous awards, and we are privileged here to have you today with us, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, Dr. Aruna Abhay Oswal, and Mr. Pradeep Karambelkar. Can I please request you to present the citation and the plaque to her? So many congratulations to both the women here, Miss Preeti Saluja and Miss Poonam Shruti. Congratulations, आप दोनों को बहुत-बहुत बधाई.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the team PSD CCI and the Governor of Chhattisgarh, Madam Urke, for extending this honor to me. And I would like to share that we strongly feel at SAM Group that it is only the education which can build a society, and educating the woman is truly building a nation. And so we have started a mission that all the educated women who are being associated with us, that is 500 members, the staff members, we have taken the responsibility of mentoring
Yes.
and educating an uneducated girl, ma'am.
All right.
So that we have taken that responsibility, and even for the girls, we have started this mission. So we all need your encouragement and blessings. Thank you so much.
Many congratulations to you, and wish you all the best for all the wonderful work that you are doing. Thank you so much to be here today, to both of you. And now we would like to move on to our next session, our second session, which is the role of women in fashion and design. And for that, I would like to introduce Ms. Megha Malagatti, who's the Business Development Director, L'Oreal. Ms. Megha Malagatti has she began her career as an engineer in information technology in India in 2004 and worked in the field of telecommunications, healthcare, and led the team that established the very first telemedicine platform in India. After her ESSEC, International Luxury Brand Management MBA in Paris, she successfully transitioned into luxury industry, joining St. Dupont, a 149-year-old French luxury house, where she was the global marketing director, managing all marketing and branding activities, including development of products, limited editions, made to measure collections, innovation, and communications globally for almost 8 years. After mastering the marketing and branding aspect to strengthen her commercial role, she started a new chapter by recently joining the L'Oreal Group in Paris as Business Development Director, catering specifically to the ISC region. A very warm welcome to you, Ms. Megha Malagatti. And I would request Mr. Saket Dalmia, Vice President, PhD CCI, and Ms. Archana Agarwal, Co-Chairperson, WE Committee, PhD CCI, to present the citation and plaque to Ms. Megha Malagatti.
Namaste. Thank you very much. It's happy to be here as well, Nagma. Thank you very much. Thank you very much as well, the Chamber of Commerce, because it's always a pleasure to come on the platform to talk to everyone. And I've been listening to quite a few of the speeches of all the women, incredible women that come from incredible India, that have been changing the face of India for women in the past few minutes. And it's really, really interesting to see how Indian women have evolved. I have been living out of India in the past 10 years and have not been so much in connect directly with the country. However, I think in the last 10 years, India has really gone ahead than where I was. I come from a village. It's a very small town in Bijapur, a very small village in Bijapur, and then moved to Gadag, Hubli, which is another small town now. At that time, Gadag was a village. And I really understand, and I can connect with a lot of people that have spoken about how women in villages really need help and support to grow themselves. And at the same time, I was really taken passionately about the session that I heard with Shalu Jindal and her mother, because this is pretty much what we want to see in India, as I believe that it's always in a mother's hand on how daughters are brought up with the sons. Because I remember when I was a kid, I was brought up saying, I know we give more importance to men and not to women. So you would be the second choice or the third choice. And on top of that, all the people who are literally into, who grew up in village, come across this kind of upbringing where boys are put up on the pedestal and girls are not. And however, in this matter, I was very lucky with my family because we got educated. All of us got educated, and I should thank my parents for that. But I could see a lot of discrimination of this happening in different families in terms of education. And the second thing, and that's the reason today, my friends who live in India today, who have traveled abroad, who have seen the life abroad and see how important women could bring change in the society, now they are bringing their sons to really respect women. And this is a very, very key learning that all our mothers should give to every little, children that they bring up. And that is one key message. The second key message would be very simple. I believe in the work environment, women can be the biggest enemy of another woman. And this is very true, because also at the same time, there is a lot of jealousy involved between woman to woman. So it's very, very important that we women keep supporting each other. And I'm so happy to see such women on this platform today, which I have not seen since a very, very long time. And this is really encouraging. And what my vision of tomorrow would be that in every workplace, like the men, always support another man in a meeting. And I've seen it so many times during our executive committee meetings or our management committee meetings over here. Of course, they do fight during meetings, but at the end of the day, they go out, they get a beer, they have a drink, and everything is fine the next day. While women, we always keep this jealousy and the grudge, and we come back tomorrow with emotional feelings. So this is something that we need to be very careful of, to not really entangle our emotions in our day-to-day life to become a successful woman. And I'm sure all the women on this platform follow this, because I can see all of them really helping other women from different backgrounds, from various sectors, helping them give jobs, helping them give education. And this is so important. And this is the natural behavior that we have to really inculcate in ourselves. So, going back to, I could relate a lot of things with myself. Yes, I was married very young as well. And I did have a very abusive husband when I was in India. It took almost 7 years for me to get divorced. And that was one of the reasons I left India, because at that time, 10 years ago, women who were divorced were not really perceived to be very, good in terms of following societal norms. And we were the outcasts of everything. And that's one of the reasons I left India. And now, after listening to all the women, I think I would love to come back to India and see how India has actually changed in terms of really bringing up people from villages or divorced women, or helping them find their space to fit in the society as well, and finding their own individuality while existing in the same society. So this is something that is positively surprising me in this session. The other things that I would also like to talk about in terms of our strengths, coming from a village, I know exactly how we grew up. We all did not have so many stores to buy things from. So we used to make things at home. I remember even needing a stick of sandalwood or a turmeric to make a face mask at home. So us Indian women, I think we are very, very close to the know-how of each and every sector. We know how the creams can be made. We know how a face mask could be made. We know how the shampoo could be made at home. We know how to, even today in the digital world, we know how to put up a website. We know how to run companies. We know how to establish companies. So this strength of know-how that I call in each and every sector, whether it's telemedicine, telecommunications, healthcare, or luxury, or fashion, design, whatever it is, I think we have it in ourselves. It's just that we need to make sure that we understand what are our strengths in which sector and to implement it. So here, there's only one way I could see us growing is upwards, for sure. The second thing that I was thinking about, what are our strengths as women, is multitasking. That here I would say most of the men don't really master, because we can go from cooking in the kitchen to feeding the child to working on the laptop pretty much at the same time and be very efficient. I think this is one of the most important quality a woman can have to become a successful entrepreneur or even a family person. I mean, I've seen my mother growing up where, you know, she used to multitask 2 to 3 different things at the same time and be extremely efficient. And I think this is what even we learn as women, to really contribute in what we do on a day-to-day basis. The last thing I would say is, I think in between the two genders, men and women, I think women are extremely resilient and perseverant in terms of resisting anything, whether it's pain during the childbirth or resisting discrimination in terms of pay, salaries in the companies. And I can see it over here in Paris, in France, when we're working. Over here, the companies are, of course, you can't really compare India and France. France is a developed country where we see a lot of equality between men and women. Still, there's a lot of things to be done in countries like France as well. However, in India, I can see that women still don't give up. This never giving up attitude to really fight and sustain is something that we can see in most of us, because we are currently on a trajectory in India where women really want to build something and become something as an individual, and not just have a title of somebody's wife or somebody's daughter, or, you know, but create their own identity in the society. And I'm very happy that that all the entrepreneurs that I'm seeing in the platform today really symbolize this. Well, so these are my words. Thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Megha. It has been a pleasure listening to you and to hear about your own journey. It's been really a pleasure. And now I would like to introduce Ms. Renu Misra. Ms. Renu is a progressive leader with 25 years of India and international leadership experience in strategy, business operations, finance, and people management. A very warm welcome to you, Ms. Renu Misra. Currently, she is the CEO of Grohe MENA, Middle East, Levant, Turkey, Israel, North and West Africa region. As part of Lexel and MENA, she led Grohe India for 5 years before taking over the region in 2017. Based out of Dubai, she's known to overcome business challenges through fact-based decision-making and has strong working ethics and an irreproachable integrity. She has a consistent record of delivering extraordinary results in growth, revenue, profitability, and operational performance. She's led high-level organizational initiatives, including turnaround management, process re-engineering, people policies, and reorganization to drive culture and performance-driven business. A very warm welcome to you, Ms. Renu Misra, and I would like to request Mr. Saket Dalmia, Ms. Archana Agarwal to present the citation and the plaque to Ms. Renu Misra. And now time for your address to everyone present here. Over to you, Renu.
Yeah, thank you so much. I must say that really honored to be here, and a big thank you to everyone at the PhD Chambers of Commerce and Industry, everyone who's listening. And it's really overwhelming, right, to be speaking on a platform in India. I still carry my roots very strongly. So when I do introduce myself, I always say that I'm an Indian. Obviously, I'm a woman, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a daughter-in-law, I'm a sister, and then I'm the CEO of Grohe Business. That's how probably most people have heard my introduction. Very proud to be where I am. And it's because of a lot of education and a lot of boost that probably our mothers gave us in India. So I owe a lot to the country. And whenever somebody asks me, what are your retirement plans? I said, I mean, it's India, right? There's just no question about it. I think I've seen it as growing as a child, and I owe a lot to the education system. People might just blame it for rote learning and whatever, but then, you know, it really makes us a lot more resilient and competitive. That's what I think. My mother was working, and in those days, probably very less women were. So she was always more aspirational about me. I think she pushed me to achieve everything, every single milestone. I've been a very ardent sports person, represented my school and even Delhi in many competitions in athletics and long jump. That's something which probably I always do not write, but I think a lot of zeal and enthusiasm comes from there. I've been watching this event unfold and looking at the amount of work people are doing. I mean, textiles, in jutis, and it's the way it started, and that's when you feel overwhelmed and proud about the country. I would say that, you know, we all make each other. And while we can always talk about genders and we can say, okay, there is bias, there's discrimination, there is this and that. But then behind a lot of successful women are also men. I would say that my father, my husband, and my two boys have been really instrumental in pushing me to achieve way above and beyond. So I would not take away credit for a lot of men in my life, and also a lot of men who helped me in my career progression, because there was always a man who trusted that I can deliver results and I could move from one industry to another, from one function to another, be the CEO of a business while I had no experience to do that, and still succeed. So there was a man who trusted, and there was a man who progressed, and there was a man who can continue to give that confidence. So I would not take it away from any gender. So there have been men and women alike who've been instrumental of where I am today. And that's what I want to give back to the society. I want to make sure that I mentor and guide enough women to be confident, to be leading, to be putting their mind and their energy, their passion and their expertise to what they believe they want to do. So it is not about a straight-jacketed job. Like they said, okay, women in fashion and design. Okay, I'm in a design industry. I see a lot of designers and architects every day. They're very passionate, very big white canvas. But what do they need? They need impetus. They need opportunities. They definitely need that mentoring and coaching to be at the right place at the right time. I think that's very important that we must do to women who are coming into the industry today, into the new professions today. They have more exposure than we had. We did not have the internet and the Googles and all the platforms that we are. I mean, look at the world today. We are all on Zoom in different parts of the world and still talking to each other. This is something which we didn't have. They have it, right? So they have definitely a better medium, a better exposure, better opportunity. So why not? So what they need is more impetus. If I have to bring about my learning experience, there are three things that I always talk about. I talk about courage, I talk about joy, and I talk about patience. So when I talk about courage, I talk about taking risks. Please take risks. Make sure that you understand that no success can be granted to anyone if you have not taken that. I've jumped into my careers in different industries, from software to telecom to FMCG to building materials, and even different functions. So I've done supply chain, I've done finance, I've done HR, and then I've also done general management. So I became the CEO because probably I had more exposure than my colleagues who were male, had only sales as their experience. So that was probably the winning edge. I took a lot of risks in my career. They paid off at a certain point of time. If I say patience, I would say consistently keep your focus. Keep your focus relentlessly. Make sure you have your objectives straightened out, broken into small pieces, achieve them, and also celebrate them, because joy is important, right? It cannot be just work and work. So no single day can get you to your dream, or let's say your passion or your achievement. In one day, that's not possible. It is about many, many days of relentless work and being sustained and focused about it. Making sure that you are joyful, you are making sure that you're also learning together. So continuous learning is very important. The times before COVID, I would travel a lot. That was definitely part of my job, but I did enjoy it also. Different cultures, different exposures, different people give you continuous learning. You imbibe a lot. You just pick up a lot from people around you, and it's very important that you keep that as your lifelong learning. Obviously, reading is very important. So keep those tenets of courage, joy, and patience the way you think works for you. Define your pace. There is no hurry. There is a pace that you define for yourself. Make sure if you want to take career breaks for your marriage, for children, attending to parents, even just a break because you want a break and rejuvenate, do it. This is important that you balance your life. You'll have a very long working career. Even if you're an entrepreneur, a freelancer, or a corporate career, you will have a very long working life, and you need to balance it with little joys of your family. Enjoy every moment that come across. I mean, I have still been able to dash into India or any other part of the world for just 3 days because there was somebody in my family getting married. I really enjoyed that because I felt that presence gave me joy and my family also immense joy. So these little things matter. If you can make more and more people happier in your circle, you will see that you receive the joy in the same way, right? Returning back to society is in many ways. So it's about contributing, it's about empowering, it's about mentoring. And I think that everybody is born with talent. It's just a time that you hone your skills with education, with learning, with experience, but also with people around you. Make sure that you have a good circle of influence. You influence and you get influenced, you learn and you give back to each other. I think women have a lot of power of giving back to each other, and I think we should never underestimate ourselves. We don't need to be told to be strong. We're just born strong. We just need to know when and where to use our strength. I wish all the women here in the group a very good year ahead. And it's not only on the International Women's Day, but every day that we should celebrate and being a woman and enjoy what you do, pursue your passion, and be grateful that you have a life with this opportunity. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that inspiring talk, Renu. And I would like to.
Can I come for just 30 seconds?
Yes, absolutely.
Renu, I am so much impressed about your story. Actually, we all say that every woman has a story. I also have the same story as you told, that men help so much, Even my husband was the only person who put me in this line. And if I'm in front of everybody today, only because of my husband and my family. So I think every woman has a story. And I'm so happy that you related that story. And I thought of my stories, are coming along to me. And thank you so much for a beautiful talk, like patience and, joy and commitment and everything. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Arunaji. Thank you. I'm so inspired by you and your daughter. I think I was just hoping that I had a girl and I could make an example. I have 2 boys. That's the only thing I miss in my life. So.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Take her your daughter. Later on. Thank you.
We were also joined earlier by Ms. Neeta Lalla, but unfortunately she had to rush because of an emergency and she's not with us right now. But I would request Mr. Saket Dalmia and Ms. Archana Agarwal to present the citation and plug to Ms. Neeta Lalla. And now is the time for a vote of thanks by Ms. Archana Agarwal, Co-Chairperson, Women Entrepreneurship Committee, PhD CCI.
Namaskar. Our today's special guest, Honorable Chhattisgarh Governor Anusuya ji, Ms. Megha Malagachi, Renu Mishra ji, and Neeta Lalla ji. She was not here by some emergency. Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, President of PhD CCI, Mr. Pradeep Multani, Mr. Saket Dalmia, our own chairperson of WE committee, Dr. Aruna Abhay Oswal, Mr. Digvijay Dabaria, Mr. Pradeep Karambalkar, Mr. Vishal Chaudhary, Mr. Shashank Rastogi, Dr. Blossom Kochar, Ms. Vatika Dividi, Mr. Saurabh Sanyal, and Dr. Yogesh Srivastav. On behalf of organizing team, it's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on the successful session of role of women in fashion and design. My heart fills with lots of gratitude and respect for us distinguished and respect our distinguished guest speakers, Ms. Megha Malagatti, Ms. Renu Mishra, for not only spending their invaluable time and their session, but enlightening us with commendable talk on the subject. You have indeed put bet of your efforts to make this an unforgettable event. I would like to thank our sponsor, without whose support this webinar would have not been successful. Dr. Aruna Abhay Oswal Group, Blossom Kochar Beauty Products Private Limited, Gems and Jewels, Big C Macron India Private Limited, Dabaria Bollywood Limited, Trident Solution, Uflex Limited, Sam Global University Bhopal, Ramraj Services Private Limited. I would also like to thank all the delegates and others esteemed guests who have taken time from their busy schedule to attend this session. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And now is the time for a samman to the following women from Jharkhand. We have Dr. Rajni Sodera, who's the Secretary of Social Health Awareness and Public Enhancement Society, which is known as SHAPES. You know, and I would like to introduce Dr. Rajni to everybody. Dr. Rajni Sodera is a physical and mental health consultant and also practices homeopathy. Her ambition is to work and successfully implement the projects which aim at bringing a positive transformation in the society along with SHAPES. She's worked towards implementation of government health projects in rural areas and villages, advocacy and awareness of social issues, health and disease, menstruation, hygiene and of adolescents, mobilize underprivileged sections through campaigns in Jharkhand, sanitary napkin production and awareness of health and hygiene during menstruation, skill development of rural and underprivileged people, and drug distribution for various vector-borne diseases. She has also worked on government projects of digital literacy, pension scheme for farmers, pension scheme for unorganized sector, and Ayushman Golden Health Card to provide financial support for medical treatment. So very proud to ask very proud to present the Utkrishtata Samman to her. I would like to invite upon Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, Dr. Aruna Abhay Oswal, and Mr. Vishal Chaudhary, who is the chairman, Jharkhand chapter, to present the citation and the plaque to Dr. Rajni Sodera. और ये मैं आपको बता दूं कि उत्कृष्टता सम्मान है, उत्कृष्ट काम के लिए इन्हें सम्मानित किया जा रहा है डॉक्टर रजनी सोडेरा को. बहुत बहुत बधाई हो आपको इस सम्मान के लिए, उत्कृष्टता सम्मान के लिए. और जो अगली महिला हैं इस झारखंड से ही, उनका नाम है श्वेता सिंह. श्वेता सिंह जो है वो चेयरपर्सन है प्रगति परिवार सोसाइटी की. श्वेता सिंह has dedicated her entire life to two most promising sectors of new India. One is finance and the other is employment and skill development. Both these sectors are currently in developing stage, so require lots of energy and synergy to establish an organized business vertical, especially in the field of employment. Skill development is related to socio-economic development of underprivileged youth of Jharkhand and India, where she succeeded by her innovative policy and prompt actions as an entrepreneur of Frontline Global Services and Pioneer Group of East India in training, education, hospitality and housekeeping. She is widely recognized for her role in shaping and converting raw human resource into semi-skilled resource and semi-skilled resource into the finest resource, especially in the sectors of training, placement, and housekeeping. She's known for her leadership of the FGS group as well as her contribution to various forums in India. Many congratulations to you, Ms. Shweta Singh, for this Utkrishtata Samman. And I would request Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, Dr. Aruna Abhay Oswal, and Mr. Vishal Chaudhary, who is the chairman, Jharkhand chapter, to present this Utkrishtata Samman to Ms. Shweta Singh. So congratulations to both the recipients of the Utkrishtata Samman from Jharkhand, and thank you for joining us. Now moving on to our third session, which talks of role of women in wellness, entrepreneurship and finance. And here I would like to introduce Ms. Gayatri Jolly, who's the founder and CEO of Master G. Ms. Gayatri Jolly is the founder and CEO of Master G and Daughters Private Limited, India's first all-woman ecosystem for the global apparel industry. Welcome to you, Ms. Gayatri Jolly. Master G was founded in 2016 and is backed by a New York-based impact investment fund called Acumen Fund. She is a qualified fashion designer from Parsons, New York, and a business graduate from Babson College, Boston. Having worked with companies like Armani and Diane Von, she has gained experience in design and management in the fashion industry. In New York, she has designed Master G's breaking pattern pedagogy and wants to make it into an ideological tool to inspire systemic and generational changes. She is driven to democratize the power of making patterns and provide affordable trading to individuals who aspire to, but lack the access to tools to realize their fullest potential. She is an INK Sonder Connect Indian Acumen Fellow, and a very warm welcome to you, Ms. Gayatri Jolly. And I would like to request Mr. Saurabh Sanyal, who's the Secretary General, PhD CCI, and Ms. Vartika Dwivedi, Co-Chairperson, WE Committee, to present the citation and plaque to Ms. Gayatri Jolly, after which we would hear her vision. And now I would like to request Ms. Gayatri Jolly to talk about all that she aspires for and how her journey has been.
Thanks, Nagma. Thanks for that introduction. It's such an honor and privilege to be here right now. I logged in about an hour ago and I was able to listen to a few very inspiring speakers. So this is so great. And just the other day, I was having a conversation with a friend who said, why do you entrepreneurs always have so many stories? And I was trying to explain to him that, when we start, that's kind of all we have. Before we have a product or a service or a business, we have a story, and that's what we go out and sell. So this session is on banking, wellness, and entrepreneurship. And there are some incredibly experienced speakers coming up to talk about banking and wellness. So I'll share my entrepreneurship journey, and I think that might resonate with some of you. So I would invite all of you, just for the next 10 to 15 seconds, to be with me on this journey and close your eyes. And I will say a few words that will inspire a visual in your mind. And in the chat box below, if you can send me the first word or the first visual that comes to your mind, I will be able to weave you a story and tell you something. So if your eyes are closed, here goes. Master G. Fabric. Scissors, paper, pencil, chalk, thread. So I have a few responses here. You can open your eyes. One of the responses was man, which is right. Whenever we think of the word Master G, we think of a man with a measuring tape around his neck and a pencil behind his ear, who's probably cutting fabric or cutting patterns. Having grown up in India, we've all experienced a neighborhood Master Ji that makes our clothes, or if we're lucky, one that comes home and makes us custom pants or custom shirts. And generations have passed where we realized that Master Ji is always a man. And this is a realization that came to me a few years ago when I was studying fashion design. And it's a bias that I held in my mind as well, despite being a fashion designer. And I never questioned why this pattern was going on for so many generations. So I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. I started studying business right after school, after which I worked in the FMCG sector for a couple of years. And then I decided that I really wanted to pursue my passion for studying fashion design, which is when I went to New York and studied at Parsons. And it was during this journey that I realized, when I moved back from Parsons, that instead of starting a fashion brand, I realized that there was a burning question that I really wanted to work towards, which was that there is the gender disparity in the fashion industry that I would much rather work towards, that helped me feel like I was contributing to the industry. So Master Ji was born 5 years ago out of the desire to find a solution to this question, which is that why are women not becoming pattern makers in the industry? So for those who are not from fashion, I would like to explain what patterns mean. So patterns are pieces of paper that we cut before we cut the fabric and then go into the sewing process. And it is these patterns which are taught from one generation of the Khandani Darzi to the next. And in every subsequent generation, the women and the daughters are left out of this oral tradition. What we do at Master Ji is we run a skilling organization where we train women in pattern making and sewing and design skills, where the very traditional Master Jis that have learned in the Khandani system come into our classrooms and they teach the next generation of women. We partner with corporates and foundations on one hand that help subsidize the cost of this training. And on the other hand, we partner with NGOs that help execute this training on the ground. And Master Ji operates as a curriculum partner that provides training modules, systems, and reporting so that this program can be run in an effective way. Once the women train with us for about a year, they are then placed into the industry in roles of pattern makers where they've never been placed before. Other than job placements, we also manufacture for several sustainability-focused fashion brands. And so far, we've worked with over 50 brands from various different countries. So we've manufactured high fashion clothing for brands from the US, UK, Australia, and so on. Last year, we incorporated India's first all-women factory where all the Master Jis were female. And now we're looking to set up more smaller units which are extensions of our training programs in 7 different locations across 5 different states. For our training centers, we partner with foundations such as FENA Foundation, Sleepwell Foundation, ASF Infrastructures in Haryana. So we have, and in Gujarat, we partner with Naira. And most recently, we are partnering with SS Agarwal Foundation in Delhi. And now going forward, we will also be looking at different states in the South as well as the East to extend our training programs. And I would like to talk a little bit about our breaking patterns pedagogy, because I think that forms the heart and soul of our training program. So if you think about your own lives and our own conditioning that we have since we're young, we all carry with us certain patterns of thinking, certain patterns of living that we carry forward without thinking about it and without questioning it. So our training program actually helps women living in poverty and women living in disparity question these patterns so that they can break out of these toxic patterns and achieve their fullest potential. And it is through this pedagogy that we hope that women will be able to feel a sense of emancipation, because we feel that the ultimate independence is financial independence, which is what the women that we train are able to achieve through this process. I would love for this session to be interactive. So if anyone has any thoughts, questions, or comments, I'd be happy to take them in the chat box below. But here is one thing that I would like to leave all of you with. I'm sure you all have access to a smartphone in front of you. If I could request all of you to pick that phone up right now and go to our petition on change.org/breaking-patterns. And if you could just go and sign once and share once, that would be amazing, because that would help us convince fashion houses and encourage export houses to hire at least one female pattern maker. And it's with every one contribution that we can make sure that pan-India, we can have a lot more women in patent-making roles so that they can become role models for other women, not only in the office or work environment, but also in their families and in their communities. I really appreciate all of your support to sign our petition, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much. That was amazing to hear you, Gayatri, and I would definitely love to sign that petition, and I will definitely do that because we would love to see that change taking place, and really fantastic work there, groundbreaking work there. Now, I would request our next panelist is Ms. Anjali Singh, and let me introduce Ms. Anjali Singh, who's the Managing Director of Deutsche Bank. Currently, she is more than 25 years of work experience, mostly in financial services, spanning different roles in operations, account management, strategy, and business. She was the global COO for banking and capital markets at Genpact, where she managed a global portfolio covering America, UK, Europe, and Asia Pacific for all delivery across BPO, analytics, and digital services. She spent 14 years working with Genpact and led a team of close to 20,000 people and was responsible for all banking clients across the many global delivery centers here in different roles of business operation, people function, and corporate strategy team. Prior to this, she's also worked for American Express and FIS. So she has a vast experience in the finance sector. She has an inherent passion for developing and sponsoring women leaders and promoting gender diversity. She's a part of many women leadership forums and organizations and an active participant in this domain. We welcome you here, Ms. Anjali Singh, the Managing Director of Deutsche Bank. A very warm welcome to you. And I would now request Mr. Saurabh Sanyal and Ms. Vartika Dwivedi to present the citation and plaque to Ms. Anjali Singh.
Thank you.
Wow, fantastic. So over to you, Ms. Anjali Singh. It's a true pleasure to have you here, and I'm just so impressed with all that you've done, especially in a sector where usually in the finance sector, because of the stereotypes, we do not see women, but you've done amazing work there, and would love to hear from you.
Thanks so much, and good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to talk here in the week of Women's Day. So I actually thought about what I should talk about, since I speak a lot on women forums and about women leadership, and I joined about an hour and a half ago, and I've heard a lot of outstanding women talk a lot. So let me talk a little bit about what COVID has done, for women and what the future looks like, and then a little bit about that in financial services. So interestingly enough, I think the past year took us through the kind of disruption that we've never seen in the past century, and hopefully we'll never see again for our lifetimes at least, because it disrupted the world on every level. It was social, economical, medical, political, and all of the rest. What that did for the world was, change the world, brought the future of work forward. There was a lot of talk always about what the future of work would look like. And I think the pandemic has become the catalyst that has brought the future of work into the present. Because guess what happened? We all scrambled and we all went and we did work from home. Look at us talking in this webinar here. 2-3 years ago, something like this would have been a conference where people would have had to show up in person. But now everything has become remote. We are so comfortable with remote. We are talking to each other through Skype and Zoom and all of that. So the world has changed, and where it's going is also very, very different. But unfortunately, I'm not sure if all of the impact was that positive for women. And there's a McKinsey report that's out about COVID impact for women, and there's a Deloitte survey that's out also talking about the same. So I'm going to just refer to some of those things. But before that, I want to say that the world can be divided into 4 kinds of workforce. There's the on-site customer interaction arena, which has people in retail stores. Then there's the travel and leisure industry, which got hugely impacted. And then there's the computer-based office work arena, which is a large part of what banking is. And I've spent more than 25 years in banking. So that's the sort of domain that I'm, aware of and comfortable with. So in Deutsche Bank, the moment the pandemic hit and the lockdown was announced, we all scrambled, and we actually succeeded in making our workforce 99% work from home, which was a surprise because if you'd asked the bank 2 years ago that can all of India stand up and work from home, they would have probably said doubtful. But guess what, it did. And Deutsche Bank had a very good year last year, if anyone has followed results. So the world proved to itself, and banking especially, that you can continue to do a lot of the transactions that you believe have to be done in person actually remotely. The digital revolution has helped us with that because everything can be done online, and banking was one of those areas that was in the middle of that whole digital revolution. It was one of the areas that was actually experiencing a lot of disruption in payments and other spaces. And COVID coming in made that whole thing get accelerated so that people could do all of their banking, do all of their financial services needs through the net, sitting at home, so that they didn't have to go to stores, they didn't have to go to their banks. But unfortunately, what has happened also, and now I'm going to talk a little bit about what I referred to earlier, the McKinsey report and the Deloitte report. We found that women, despite constantly always saying that they would like flexibility, and the COVID pandemic actually gave them the flexibility of working at home, haven't always felt that it was ideal. Because unfortunately, last year, when jobs were lost and people were let go, it was more men than women. And in the America, more than 2 million women apparently have actually decided to either leave the workforce or not or have lost their job. And the pandemic intensified challenges that women already faced in terms of the working mothers having to deal with everything at home plus manage their work. So in the survey that Deloitte did, about 25 to 30% women have said that they'd like to take a step down or even take a pause in their careers. 70% women have said that it disrupted their lives negatively, and they believe that it may have a lasting effect on their career. And I think 85% women have said that, yes, it wasn't something that they would ever like to, go through again. What it did do for women, however, I think, is it gave them the flexibility. So instead of focusing on, some of the negative outcomes of what happened, we have to change gears and think of how we treat it as an opportunity for women and not as something that is going to put women on the lower rung or slow down their career progression. And this is where companies worth their salt really have to sit up and take notice. And this is where the future of work is going. So as the world goes back to work, as banks go back to work, the world is never going to look the same. The world is never going to be about everybody 100% of the time show up in office and lead a 9-to-5 schedule. They're going to be blended workforces. There's going to be 30% work at home, 70% in office. And this is the time for companies to start thinking of what they need to do for women. And how do you really, create the ecosystem that women can not just survive, but thrive in corporate life. And interestingly enough, in the same, survey, the women were asked, so, when you come back to work, what are the things that you would like that you get? And here's what the women have said, that they would like to have a better work-life balance. They would like to have, a pay raise. They would like to have more networking and mentoring opportunities. They would like that companies think of childcare programs to provide to them. So I think this is what the world is telling us. This is what corporate women are saying. This is what they need to be able to thrive. And the corporate world is very, very well aware that you need women leaders. You need women leadership for companies to actually succeed. So unless companies are willing to let go of women and say that, we're not going to be willing to accommodate, they will see a huge gap in leadership. And therefore, some of the things I will end with just, what are some of the things that companies can do to make work more sustainable? I think leaders and managers have to look at productivity and performance very differently. The old and the traditional methods have to change. You have to reset the norms around flexibility. A lot of that had started with, the companies like Google and Facebook. All these fintech companies have brought in flexibility. Now all the traditional companies, including banks, also need to offer that. Take a better and closer look at performance reviews, outcome-based performance. take steps to continue to minimize the gender biases that exist. And every company is talking of trainings, whether it's an unconscious bias, whether it's about the broken rung, the glass ceiling. How do you continuously make sure that you're hiring women, promoting women, bringing women into the leadership is got to be very focused policies that every company takes into account. And you have to adjust your policies and programs to be able to support employees. I'm not saying give women any kind of benefit. I'm just saying make the life of a woman, the ecosystem that she needs, which is a little different from a man, make that a little better for women to come back to corporate life. The pandemic may have been a little bit of a setback for some, but I think the future of work and where we can take it, treat it like an opportunity rather than any kind of a regression is what will show the success of where we can go. So there's a lot of work in this area. I tell all women when I speak to them that it's a great time to be a woman in corporate life because there is so much conversation and so much focus around this topic. Everyone is aware of what needs to be done, what needs to change. It's taking a little time from all the conversation and all the policy to translate into, seeing the numbers move up, seeing companies getting more than 25% women in leadership roles, getting 50% diversity, gender diversity in companies. But the conversations have begun, the policies are there. And I think if not in my generation, because I'm kind of, at the last sort of 10 years of my career, the next generation will certainly see gender equality in terms of every which way possible, pay equity, right? Equal leadership across companies, women on boards, all of these things that will happen. So I'm going to stop here. It was, it was more about sort of a very corporate view of where, and being in traditional banking, about how a bank is thinking of women and what we can do to really encourage women leaders to come forward and survive and succeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Anjali. And the next panelist here is Dr. Manjari Chandra, who's a functional nutritionist, author, and wellness coach. I would like to welcome you, Dr. Manjari, on this platform. Thank you for joining. Dr. Manjari is a functional nutritionist, wellness coach, and an author. Very warm welcome to you. She's using nutrition and lifestyle to reverse cardiometabolic diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, hormonal imbalance, autoimmune and neurological disorders, all the way to cancer. Her work entails changing her patients' lives by reversing their diseases using ancient Indian wisdom, herbs, and blending it with modern science. She's worked for leading hospitals of India, namely Max Healthcare, Manipal Hospitals, and Columbia Asia. She's also the official nutritionist for HelpAge India. Her keen interest in conducting wellness and health workshops for communities has enabled her to lead sessions for corporates such as Ernst & Young, Infosys, Hero Motors, Pullman Hotels, PepsiCo, etc. We are very, very grateful that you are here today to talk about the diverse experience that you bring into the field of wellness and health. And before we move on and hear you, I would request Mr. Saurabh Sanyal, who's a Secretary General of PhD-CCI, and Ms. Vartika Dwivedi to present the citation and plaque to Dr. Manjari Chandra. Now, thank you, and we're all very keen to listen to your conversation here because this is the need of the hour. How do you blend the modern and the traditional?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I know this has stretched a bit long, but I will request 5 minutes of audience from everybody present here. Thank you so much, PhD Chamber of Commerce, for having me on board. My special thanks to Dr. Blossom Kocher, somebody I really look up to and I'm highly inspired by. Everybody else who's present here, all the senior people, all the dignitaries who are there, all the women entrepreneurs who spoke today, I'm highly inspired by everybody. I'm, however, in a very different space. I practice healthcare. And healthcare, as we know, has become one of the primary things with the COVID, the way it's impacted the world, health, we've realized, has become our biggest currency now. And because health is your bigger currency, we want to spend it wisely. We want to keep it really going high and flourishing. We want our currency to grow. We want our health to be better. And no better time for us to then focus on health. What I do essentially is healthcare, but in a different space. I practice modern medicine. I've been working with modern medicine hospitals. But over years, we realized that modern medicine was not treating diseases the way it was supposed to treat. In fact, modern medicine was using pharmacology, surgery, and other interventions to manage a lot of cardiometabolic diseases. That is when I met some like-minded people, and we realized that we could do more to health than just use drugs and surgery and intervention. And then we stumbled upon the concept of functional medicine. So I and a few of my colleagues trained ourselves in something called functional medicine, which is widely practiced in America and in many other parts of the world. Functional medicine is the same modern medicine as you and I see it. The only difference is that it works on the human physiology and biochemistry. It does not work on chemicals. It does not work on drugs. So you exclude the drugs and you go back to what has gone wrong with the human body to cause a disease condition. So we work backwards. So when we see a problem upstream, we go backstream and we address what went wrong and fix the why of the problem. Therefore, functional medicine, which is actually the future of modern medicine, is what we practice. A large part of what functional nutrition and functional medicine entails is counseling. So because we're looking at behavioral changes, we're looking at changes in lifestyles of people, the way they move, the way they eat, the way they sleep, the way they manage stress, the way they breathe, because we're looking at changes which are lifestyle changes and behavioral changes. A large part of our work becomes counseling. It becomes sitting across people, explaining them what put them in a disease condition. Why did you end up with cancer? Let's look back and understand why you ended up with a cardiometabolic disease and start working on that cause to eventually change the effect. So it's a direct cause and effect relationship. And we've been able to treat a lot of diabetic and cancer patients in the last 3 years and make them free of cancer and free of diabetes and remove their medications over these 3 years that we've been practicing functional medicine. A large part of also what I do involves listening to people, listening and understanding as in what is going on with them. So empathy becomes a very big part of our practice. Our practice is not just, understanding symptomatically, diagnosing and suggesting solutions and the right treatment, but empathy and understanding why a person is in a particular place, empathizing and forming a plan that goes on and is completely embraced by that particular person who's going through that particular disease is what makes the program successful. So everybody who comes to us for reversing their conditions like diabetes or hormonal imbalances or autoimmune conditions or cancer comes with a lot of faith and trust. And therefore, we build the program with them. Everything that is done is very personalized. Everything that is done is very holistic. Everything that functional medicine practices is a complete 360-degree solution, where we're not looking just at what a person ate, but everything else that encompasses the growth and also the reversal or remission of a disease. I'm really privileged to be here today and to be part of this Women's Day Forum that has been, conducted by PhD Chamber of Conference. And I'll invite all of you to, really going to a doctor and finding a pill. In modern medicine, they say when there is a ill, there is a pill to do it. So you have an ill and you have a pill to match. Sadly, that pill will give you another ill. And then you have to go on to the next pill to manage that ill because of the pill that you were consuming, So instead of looking at it in a very boxed and bracketed way of looking at medications as solutions to disease, we have to look at the cause, the why of a disease and the why of the why. And once we do that, which we are successfully doing, by the way, and this is not any mumbo jumbo science, this is not something which we imagine in our heads. This is something that has a complete protocol to it. And therefore, the solution to health is really not walking up to a physician or a doctor and getting a prescription done. The solution to health in what went wrong to put you in a disease state and correcting those things. It could be lack of movement, it could be stressors, it could be your sleep, it could be your food, it could be your environment, it could be your toxins, it could be your relationships, it could be really everything. And therefore, what we do at functional medicine involves all these tenets. We look at reducing toxins, eliminating toxins. We look at changing behaviors and mindsets. We look at mindfulness. Mindfulness is one of the tenets of our treatment, which is whatever you do it mindfully. And thankfully, there's a lot of success that we see with this sort of treatment. And I just wanted to leave you all with the concept that healthcare is more than medicine. It is more than hospitals. It is really going back to where we come from and understanding what changed to cause diseases. Why is it? It's such an irony that we are probably living in an age where medical science is at its pinnacle, its highest, it's the topmost research is happening today. But it's sad that it's definitely a mismatch between research and science and the disease. There's so much science, we should be a disease-free society, but we have a lot of disease. And healthcare, therefore, has to boil down to looking back inwards to ourselves and changing the way we live. Once we do that, so thank you for having me here, and thank you all. And I look forward to seeing all of you in person soon sometime.
That'll be fantastic. It's all about holistic healing and living well rather than just curing the illness. So thank you so much for that talk there, Dr. Manjari Chandra. I would request Ms. Vartika Dwivedi for a vote of thanks.
Thank you so much. As one of the co-chairpersons of the Women Entrepreneurs Committee, PhD CCI, I am proud and it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks to the amazing people who have organized, have sponsored, are attending this event, and the speakers and awardees of the session 3. Sorry for the interruption. I would like to start the whole thing again. As the co-chairperson of the Women Entrepreneurs Committee, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks to the amazing people who have organized and sponsored or attending this event, and the speakers and awardees of the session 3, Women, a Role of Women in Wellness, Entrepreneurship and Finance. Ms. Gayatri Jolly, founder and CEO, MasterG. Ms. Anjali Singh, Managing Director, Deutsche Bank. Dr. Manjari Chandra, functional nutritionist, author and wellness coach. Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, our president of the PhD CCI. Mr. Pradeep Multani, senior vice president, PhD CCI. Mr. Saket Dalmia, vice president of PhD CCI. And our very own Dr. Aruna Abhay Oswal, chairperson, Women Entrepreneurship Committee, PhD CCI. Mr. Digvijay Dabaria, Chairman, Rajasthan Chapter, PhD CCI. Mr. Pradeep Karambelkar, Chairman, MP Chapter, PhD CCI. Mr. Vishal Chaudhary, Chairman, Jharkhand Chapter, PhD CCI. Mr. Shashank Rastogi, Chairman, Chhattisgarh Chapter, PhD CCI. Our Dr. Blossom Kocher, co-chairperson, Women Entrepreneurs Committee, PhD CCI, and our very own Ms. Archana Agarwal, co-chairperson, Women Entrepreneurship Committee, PhD CCI, Mr. Saurabh Sanyal, Secretary General, PhD CCI, and Dr. Yogesh Srivastava, Assistant Secretary General, PhD CCI, all the eminent speakers, guests, distinguished delegates, Samman recipients from the states. Greetings to everyone here. It's really my privilege. I'm very proud to propose a vote of thanks for this session. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the eminent panelists for this session, Ms. Gayatri Jolly, founder and CEO of MasterG, Ms. Anjali Singh, Managing Director of Deutsche Bank, and Dr. Manjari Chandra, functional nutritionist, author and wellness coach, for sparing their valuable time and to be a part of this webinar. It was a pleasure to hear and learn so much about the evolution of the wellness sector, financial services, and rise of women entrepreneurs in the last few years. I would also like to thank our sponsors, without whose support this webinar would not have been as successful as it has been today. Aruna Abhay Oswal Group, Blossom Culture Beauty Products Private Limited, Gems and Jewels, Bixi Marcom India Private Limited, Davaria Bollywood Limited, Trident Solution, Uflex Limited, SAM Global University Bhopal, Ramraj Services Private Limited. I would also like to thank all the delegates and esteemed guests who have taken out their time out of their busy schedule to attend this session. The wellness industry is set to be the next big industry. The increasing presence of women as entrepreneurs and in the financial sector has led to the change in the demographic characteristics of business and economic growth of the country. Women-owned business enterprises are playing a prominent role in society today, inspiring others and generating more employment opportunities in the country. There is need for sustainable growth for women entrepreneurs to promote a balanced growth in the country in any field, be it wellness, finance, technology, startup, and all. The women entrepreneurship ecosystem needs to be strengthened through policies and initiatives enabling networks. And I'm glad our PhD CCI is doing just that. I convey my sincere thanks to Dr. Yogesh Srivastava, Assistant General Secretary, and his entire team for their hard work, not forgetting the tech team who has really been the backbone of this amazing session and consistent efforts to make this webinar a success. Last but not the least, I welcome all the women who are listening to me to join the growing community of Women Entrepreneurship Committee of PhD CCI. Thank you to all, and looking forward to connecting and doing great works as women together.
Thank you so much, Vartika Trivedi, for that vote of thanks. And now I would like to announce the Samman, the Utkrishtata Samman for the following women from Chhattisgarh. Ms. Phulbasan Yadav is the recipient of the Utkrishtata Samman from Chhattisgarh. And let me tell you a little about Ms. Phulbasan Yadav. She established the Ma Bamleshwari Swayam Sahayata Samu in 2001. It's a self-help group along with 11 other women. Her efforts and determination have resulted in the establishment of over 13,000 Mahila Swayam Sahayata Samu, and over 2 lakh women are associated with these self-help groups. She also launched various social initiatives. The Swayam Sahayata Samu, or the self-help group, established Bal Bhoj, a food distribution program for preschool children in Chhattisgarh's Anganwadis. Additionally, it also set up a midday meal scheme for school children in various districts. She also established the Mahila Fauj to counter alcoholism and addiction in Chhattisgarh's rural men. She was awarded the Padma Shri in 2012 for her dedication to the development of economically and socially backward women in her states. So that's an amazing amount of work over there. And I would request Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, Dr. Aruna Abhay Oswal, and Mr. Shashank Rastogi, Chairman Chhattisgarh Chapter, to present the Utkrishtata Samman to Ms. Phulbasan Yadav. बहुत बधाई हो आपको इस सम्मान के लिए। फूलवासन जी, अगर आप हमारे साथ हैं तो पद्मश्री से पहले ही सम्मानित की जा चुकी हैं। उत्कृष्टता सम्मान के लिए आपको बहुत बधाई। और छत्तीसगढ़ से एक और नाम जो बहुत ही जाना माना नाम है, तीजन बाई का, आप सब लोगों ने जानते होंगे। उन्हें भी उत्कृष्टता सम्मान दिया जा रहा है। तीजन बाई gave her first public performance singing in the Vedmati Shaili of Pandavni, and a first time for a woman at the age of 13. It was the first time a woman was singing in that style. Within a short time, she became known in the neighboring villages, and invitations poured in for her to sing at various occasions and festivals. And when the famous playwright Habib Tanveer, a theatre personality from Madhya Pradesh, noticed her talent, she was called to perform for then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. She traveled all over the world as a cultural ambassador to countries as far as England, France, Switzerland, Germany, Turkey, Tunisia, Malta, Cyprus, Romania, and Mauritius. She performed sequences from the Mahabharata in Shyam Benegal's acclaimed Doordarshan TV series Bharat Ek Khoj. She was awarded the Padma Shri in 1988. Today, she continues to enthrall audience the world over with her unique folk singing and her powerful voice, and pass on her singing to the younger generation. बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको तीजन बाई जी। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, Dr. Aruna Abhay Oswal, and Mr. Shashank Rastogi to present this Utkrishta Samman to Ms. Tejan Bai. बहुत बधाई हो आप दोनों लोगों को, फूलबसन यादव, तीजन बाई जी, आप दोनों को इस उत्कृष्टता सम्मान से सम्मानित किया गया, इसकी आपकी बहुत बहुत बधाई। और हम इसके पहले कि आगे बढ़ें, आई वुड लाइक टू once again mention Electra, and I would like to invite Vikram Gera, who is the co-chairman International Affairs Committee of Europe and CIS, to talk about the work that they do. And we would also like to show a video about the beautiful initiative by Electra.
Thank you, Nagma. Good evening to all. And Electra has come up with two very versatile products, which not only will make the availability of the two hygiene products trouble-free, but their disposal in the incinerator is a step towards sustainability. Make in India and Swachh Bharat are the two mainstays of our Honorable Prime Minister Modi's vision for India, and the two products aptly advance the need of the hour. The cost of the products are nominal when we consider the safety and facilities which would be provided to our women. I would urge the eminent panelists here today to support Electra in helping our society to be a safe and hygienic haven for women. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And if we could just have a look at the video.
Kamal Kumar, Director, Electra Calcutta Oil Private Limited. I'm very thankful to PhD Chambers of Commerce and Industry for giving us this opportunity. Our company has developed sanitary napkin vending machines and sanitary napkin incinerators to burn the used packs. Our main objective is to specially ensure women empowerment so that girls can live their life with dignity. These machines installed at various girls' washrooms of schools, colleges, government institutions, or public places can help ensuring easy availability of sanitary napkin to women in need and burn the used packs. We have with us Ms. Shubhangi Vansal, our Marketing Director, to go through with the product demonstration.
Thanks, Karthik. Our aim is to ensure easy availability of sanitary napkins to majority of women through our sanitary napkin vending machines.
We request organizations like Red Cross, Lions Club, Rotary Clubs, and others to come forward and support us.
That's an amazing initiative there by Electra to make those sanitary pads dispensing machines, and it is an amazing work that they are doing. Now, before we move on, and I invite Dr. Yogesh Srivastava for a vote of thanks, I would like to thank these sponsors without whose support this webinar would not have been successful. So I would like to especially thank these following sponsors: Aruna Abhay Oswal Group, Blossom Couture Beauty Products Private Limited, Gems and Jewels, Big C, Marcom India Private Limited, Dabaria Prollywood Limited, Trident Solution, Uflex Limited, SAM Global University Bhopal, Ramraj Services Private Limited. So these were the sponsors, and the program is also being supported by the Rajasthan chapter, the Chhattisgarh chapter, Jharkhand chapter, and the Madhya Pradesh chapter. I would also like to thank a very special thank to Exposim, one of the most advanced virtual exhibition platforms. Without them, this webinar would not have been possible. We have been able to connect through everybody, various countries and states because of this medium. Like to thank Mr. Mohit, Mr. Vikas, and Mr. Avinash and other team members for their support and cooperation to make this webinar a big success. And thanks, I would like to extend my gratitude for making me a part of this webinar, and very special thanks to all the panelists and the distinguished speakers who were part of this. Now, over to you, Dr. Yogesh Srivastava.
Nagma, thank you so much for moderating it so well. And
Thank you.
Great job done.
Thank you, Dr. Aruna.
Thank you, Dr. Aruna. You have already said I wanted to start my brief communication thanking Nagma for moderating it so beautifully, and then her support towards the International Women Day. And as we discussed in the Women Entrepreneurship Committee, that every day is a Women Day. And as we have discussed, Aruna ji, in our committee meeting also, as far as I am personally concerned, I have 3 ladies at home, my mother, my wife, and my daughter. And I think all 3 have played a very important role in not only in my personal journey, but also in my professional career. And one thing I want to say in my concluding remarks, that we at WEC committee at PhD CCI will ensure that the benchmark which we have created, ma'am, today will always go high and high, and the bar would certainly be high. That I can assure you on behalf of my Secretary General, Mr. Saurabh Sanyal. Let me be very honest and straight with you. He is the one who motivates us whenever we are, we feel frustrated. To be honest, at times we feel frustrated, but he is the one who always comes up and then give motivation to each secretariat members over here. So that I can assure you that we will certainly be, making the bar high as far as the programs are concerned, and especially the International Women's Day celebration. But I would love to give my special thanks to my leadership, PhD CCI, who have always been supporting leadership of WEC committee, all the very inspiring 4 women led by Aruna ji, Blossom ji, Archana ji, and Vartika ji. And last but not the least, if I don't mention, it would be criminal on my part if I don't mention the name of my team who have worked so hard on this program, especially first with Krutika. I must say, she being a young girl, she has been not only coordinating with Nagma, but at the same time with all the panelists, with all the people, and especially at the back-end team. So Krutika, a big round of applause for Krutika, I must say that, and Sanjeev, who have been working tirelessly for this program. My dear colleagues, Ajay Bansal, Puneet, and Thomas from the creative team, they have always been supporting. And I have to basically mention the names of my resident directors. Without their support, this program was not possible. Anirudh and Sachin from Madhya Pradesh chapter, Jitendra from Rajasthan chapter, Mantosh from Jharkhand chapter, Sumit and Gyanendra from Chhattisgarh chapter. These are the set of people in Secretariat who has always been inspiring and inspired enough to do meaningful programs. And last but not the least, my dear colleague Satnam Kaur, who has gone on a maternity leave. But let me tell you, she is the backbone of this WEC committee. And though she would be joining post her maternity leave in the month of September 2021, and she has been blessed with a baby girl. And yes, Kurtika has just now given me the names of people working for this Exposims. Though Nagma has already mentioned this is a wonderful platform, but at the same time, I must extend my gratitude to Mohit Ramani, Vikas, Avinash, and Rahul for their wonderful coordination, not only with Nagma, but also with all my secretariat team members over here. Ladies and gentlemen, all my panelists, especially young girls from the SAM Global University, more than 1,000 girls, as Nagma has already said at the outset, that they were seeing this entire program on a big screen. And let me also feel, and communicate that since the program schedule has actually gone haywire, I can understand since once the speaker is speaking, then it is a bit difficult for the moderator to come in between and then, interrupt. But let me assure you, we will be certainly, initiating the physical program soon. The corona has already gone. Yes, we really need to make our immunity high, and the ladies at home are doing a lot of efforts to ensure that the men immunity is high. And we will certainly be doing more programs under WEC committee led by Aruna ji. And Aruna ji, last but not the least, you are always very inspiring, very, very enthusiastic leader, along with my beautiful co-chairs, and we will try our level best to achieve the objectives which you have set for this WEC committee. Thank you very much. And as we have said that Electra is doing a very good program, we will ensure them that under CSR, we would be communicating to companies so that they can sponsor. And then I would also personally request my Secretary General if we can put some of the vending machines in the ladies' washroom over here in PhD House at Delhi, but also at all the PhD buildings in India. That I will personally request our Secretary General, that I can assure Electra on this. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your joining this program. And we are very grateful to each one of you. Thank you and namaskar. Jai Hind.
Kudos to all of you, Exposim, Yogesh ji, all the secretariat, Krutika, all the team of IT, everyone, leadership. I have no words to praise. Really, so I'm so humbled and honored today. We all are from WEC, and thank you for all this. Thank you very much. We'll see you again. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
India, an ancient nation that defied imperialism to be a modern economy at the heart of global growth. As technology evolved, so did India, becoming a country with one of the highest GDPs in the world. And among those who made India what it is today is the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the PhD CCI, a chamber where progress, harmony and development come together.
Atmanirbhar Bharat.
And as India further progresses to be Atmanirbhar or self-reliant, PhD CCI is ready to play a pivotal role. As the chamber is the most prominent voice of the MSMEs, it is perfectly poised to work in this sector to translate the idea of self-reliance into a reality. PhD CCI has steered many policies at the national and state levels. As liberalized India was evolving to be the new India, the chamber was at an advantageous position to offer thought leadership. So, many prominent policies have inputs from the PhD CCI. And as its contribution to growth, the PhD CCI has organized prominent annual events such as the PITEX, Agri and Hortitech, Arogya Melas, Defense Expos, and the Farm to Fork, among many others. Hence, the government recognized its contribution by issuing a postage stamp in 2005 in its centenary year. PhD CCI is a constant partner in the progress of the nation. It shares the government's dream of making India a $5 trillion economy by 2024 and has strongly supported the Make in India, Skill India, Digital India, Startup India, and Stand Up India movements. It has also been bridging the gap between policies and practices, particularly in supporting the MSMEs of the country, and its role is guided by the intense research it undertakes on different contemporary issues.
At the very beginning of the lockdowns caused by COVID-19, the PhD Chamber took proactive measures to begin holding webinars and virtual conferences in which all the stakeholders were invited. It provided the correct platform for the trade and industry to interact with the government authorities to try and minimize the disruptions caused by the lockdowns. In the face of such a difficult situation, the Government of India's resolve of building an Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-reliant India with inclusive growth across all sectors of the economy, deserves highest appreciation. The rupees 20 lakh crore stimulus package to alleviate the difficulties caused by COVID-19 has therefore proven to be very timely. All indicators for the month of September 2020 show that the economy is gaining its vitality back again. Electricity and fuel consumption is up. The volume of e-way bills increased to a record 57 million for the month. Railways increased their freight tonnage by 13%, and a record 1.8 billion digital transactions were made.
What the Chamber is achieving today is the fructification of a humble effort that started in 1905. That is, even before the national capital moved to Delhi, 8 prominent businessmen created the Punjab Chamber of Commerce. From this humble beginning to becoming a gigantic force in the Indian business scene, PhD CCI constantly evolved, successfully addressing the needs of the times. Every time, its initiatives got the support of prominent personalities who steered the Indian economy. This partnership is still going on. PhD CCI has more than 2,200 direct and 1.5 lakh indirect members across India, and it has about 250 associate members and 16 state chapters. The Chamber has its headquarters in Delhi. It has state offices in Delhi, Chandigarh, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Assam, Gujarat, and Kerala.
The disruption caused by the pandemic is being seen as an opportunity to radically reform our health sector by developing world-class infrastructure and harnessing digital technology and artificial intelligence-powered tools. During the critical phase, our esteemed PhD members provided timely support to state governments by building hospitals, health centers, and manufacturing world-class critical care equipment such as ventilators and PPEs. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Ayush is making optimal utilization of electronic and digital platforms for promoting indigenous practices of medicine and healthcare and digitalization of our health records. PhD Chamber organized a number of seminars, webinars on the Ayush system to facilitate knowledge building and the transfer of cutting-edge technology and skills so that we may truly become Atmanirbhar.
Industry 4.0
is changing the landscape of manufacturing industry in India. While technologies such as robotics, AI, ML, cloud computing, and big data analytics already exist in the manufacturing sector, their integration with one another will transform the way we do business. The PhD CCI takes immense pride and thanks its members for making it a robust caucus, brimming with ideas, sharing with camaraderie, and daring to grow.
The partner chambers of the PhD CCI are the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Maharashtra Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, Federation of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana Commerce and Industry, Federation of Karnataka Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and Federation of Industry and Commerce of Northeastern Regions. The headquarters has all the facilities that help in outreach to the business and administrative functionaries. It has a state-of-the-art auditorium, conference halls, and meeting rooms. The Chamber organizes regular events and meets to facilitate the business community. PhD CCI plays a leading role in scouting for opportunities for Indian businesses abroad. As a part of this initiative, PhD CCI participated in exhibitions in Thailand, Russia, Bangladesh, Singapore, and Iran. It opened its first overseas office in Bahrain in 2017 to reach out to the GCC countries. It has also participated in several India-specific events worldwide, such as the India Expo in Saudi Arabia, the 16th Global India Festival in Malaysia, Best of India in Azerbaijan, and the Best of India show at Sochi, Russia. The Chamber also accompanied the Prime Minister at several places across the globe. PhD CCI has signed an MOU with the European Business Group to strengthen ties in post-Brexit Europe. It has also formed an Ambassadors Economic Forum to boost business in countries not explored much till now.
When this pandemic started and when the lockdown was announced, PhD was one of the first chamber who bounced back, and it filled the gap which was there between the government and the industry. In fact, PhD made sure that all the problems with the industry which they were facing because of various reasons, be it state, central coordination, we addressed most of those issues. We represented to the government and got most of the problems of the industry addressed at that point of time. I'm also happy to say that in last few years, PhD has positioned itself as a thought leader, as a think tank. Even in these pandemic times, we have made in last 6 months, we have made almost 152 representations to the government. And these are backed by the research being done by our research bureau. And also we have taken inputs from the industry. And I'm happy to say that a number of our recommendations and inputs which were given to the government, they were accepted.
What makes PhD CCI the most innovative is its services to the MSMEs. It has about 50 specialized committees from a wide range of subjects ranging from agribusiness to airports. It has effective facilitation systems for MSMEs on issues such as loan facilitation, IPR, tenders, and much more. For these, the Chamber has a full-fledged facilitation center.
Indian startups and innovators will play a vital role in the success of the Atmanirbhar mission. PhD believes that startups are the backbone of Indian economy, especially for generating employment and enhancing GDP to double-digit growth in the near future. Young startups in India are set to adopt radical solutions and breakthrough technology to leapfrog into the future. PhD Chamber, through the Young Business Leaders Forum, popularly known as YBLF, and the Startup Forum, plays an active role for the youth and their mentoring as future business leaders. These forums work effectively for promoting and developing business networking, leadership skills, organizing programs for disruptive learning, and simultaneously contribute to nation building.
As an encouragement to performing businesses, the PhD CCI has instituted awards and recognitions for enterprises. The role of the Chamber isn't limited to business. Through its foundations on family welfare and rural development, the Chamber executes its social responsibility. And as the COVID-19 pandemic affected the country, PhD CCI took innovative measures to carry on functioning post-lockdown. It was one of the first chambers to go online with prominent webinars. During Unlock 1, it adopted foolproof safety measures in its office, with Arogya Setu app being made a must for entry into the PhD CCI office. And member organizations ensured safety measures in their factories. PhD CCI also ran awareness campaigns on COVID safety and lent its support to ground-level efforts.
Members of the PhD Chamber once again rose to the challenge in contributing over 525 crores towards the PM CARES Fund. Our two foundations, the Family Rural Development Foundation, Family Welfare Foundation, contributed to the lakhs of underserved food packets, sanitizers and masks and personal protective equipment. I wish to thank our managing committee members, patron members, star members, and special invitees to the managing committee for their guidance and support.
PhD CCI is a consistent partner in India's growth story. It is the symbol of India's consistent effort to grow as an economic powerhouse. For PhD CCI, it was, is, and always shall be India first.